Hmm. The fuck is this shit? What's up, gamers? Starting today, channel points, emotes, subs, bits, and badges are available to all streamers on Twitch. No affiliate status required. These tools help you build a community from day one. Enroll and complete your setup in your dashboard today. Well, alright. Cool, I guess. But you still need affiliate to actually be paid. So what is the point of all of this? Sure, man. This is very strange. Very, very strange here by Twitch. Don't know why they did that, but sure. So basically, the only purpose of getting affiliate is so you can get paid on the platform. Okay? Sure, man. Cool. Clack, 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 clack. Get rid of all this shit. Oreo are factors. And now we suffer. Ag. Russia-Ukraine is going to end very soon. Is it Trump? I feel like I've heard him say this like 70 different times. Don't know. I feel like I've seen this a bunch before. Very, very cool. NVIDIA has just become the first company in history to reach a market cap of $5.5 trillion. Oh boy. That surely is not going to crash. Surely nothing will go wrong with that. Oh, those are these different colored lasers. Fun. Fixing things. I was fixing things, and we have fixed a bunch of things, but we need to fix a few more things. Alright, came here to do repairs. Right, and the main thing we need from this is about 1,000. Give me... There we go. Main thing we need from here is about 1,000 bottles of science. Son of a bitch. I'm basically stuck here for the time being. Lovely. I have to research the filament now? The fuck? That's annoying. I see. Focusing lens that makes the laser do different kinds of damage. Okay. the heck? That's a little weird, but okay. Well, I guess it gives you something to do with the lens. 20 rubies. The heck? But does this mean fucking laser turrets now need ammo to function now or something? I'm a little confused. Does it work with these lasers? Or is it with normal lasers only? That's very weird. That is very weird. Fascinating. Okay, you. Whew. 53 bottles are currently available on the planet. Fuck my life, dude. It's gonna take a while to fill up. We'll see what ultimately happens there. Alright, we got another issue to fix. JD Vance announces the Trump administration was holding $1.3 billion in Medicaid reimbursements, of course. Oh, I know another thing that's been going on, but Ethan's been, like, basically completely crashing out ever since the Kilotonics video has come out. He's trying to, like, sue iDubbbz again or some shit. He's blaming Reddit for the fact that he, took a picture of Anissa from the iDubbbz snark Reddit. It's very strange, dude. Ethan Klein is now blaming Reddit for people seeing him zoom in on Anissa's story. That's actually fucking incredible, man. The panopticon that is your mind. Non-affiliates can now get subs and bits, but the payout goes into a spendable balance, meaning you're locked to spending that money on Twitch. Worst of all, that balance is taxable. You're paying taxes on money you can't even use. This is true. It's very, very, very goofy. Very silly. I'm still a little confused by that move by Twitch, saying like, "Oh yeah, you can get subs and bits now, but if you're a non-affiliate, but you can't get any of that money. It still gets taxed and everything." It's just like, okay, sure. It's very weird. Sup, Clay? Good and good. Oh, that's also another thing I've been seeing as well, how everyone hates JD Vance and does not want him to run for president. Because some a part of those like interesting polls have come out of saying that AOC has so far taken the lead, and one pollster. It's only one pollster, but it's the most accurate pollster in both 2020 and 2024. So that one pollster saying that AOC has the lead in terms of the Democratic primary is something. That, and alongside them saying, actually, Abdul El-Sayed also is the leading, shall we say, pollster as well. Or leading in the Democratic fucking primary. It's nice as well. I mean, it's such that, like, the, I don't know, delusions of what these morons, these blue MAGA dipshits, it's just wrong. So, you know, it's always good to make fun of those people, shit on those people. It's always correct. What was I saying? Oh, the fact that Republicans have moved on from J.D. Vance and prefer Marco Rubio instead, which I find to be very, very fascinating. It's just like, okay. Sure. Yes, the whole centrist attempt to try to make Hassan bad happen. I mean, I do think it's over. It's not. It didn't work. Like, it's over. Like I said with the Kilotonics video, like it's not happening. Period. The whole push to try to make Hassan bad just didn't work, because more people are going to be. We're like, who the fuck is Hassan? Because yeah, most people don't know who Hassan is. And people took a look at what Hassan had to say, and were just like, huh, yeah, this guy's saying a bunch of good stuff. Because I don't understand why the centrists thought that was a good tactic. People hate Democratic leadership right now. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. But then again, centrists are not very intelligent. They are very stupid. They are very, very stupid. So long as they get to look really dumb, that's all I care about. I think it is a good thing when centrists look bad and look really dumb, because I hate them. What's up, Big Jerry? Alright, we have another planet we have to fix, and that's you. And the reason you need to be fixed is because you got filled with arithmetic and golden ore. Arithmetic combinators and gold ore. We had no contingency to take care of those. So now we have to make a contingency that takes care of those. Not too bad. We also need to heat this place up, of which we should be able to, because we got plenty of solid fuel to do as such. No biggie. Let's get into the stuff we're going to start today. I also try to not be as late as I always am. Confirm. Alright. Not done one of these in a while, and we should probably do as such. That's not the correct window. Hutch is a grifter, and Lonerbox is just cucked to DGG. He's made his bed, and now he's laying in it. That's really about it. I liked Lonerbox back in the day. He made very good video essays. And then he, for whatever reason, decided to get in bed with fucking Destiny. I don't really know why. Maybe I should do Attack on Grifters at some point on, like, Lonerbox. Because I just don't know what it is. I would like to figure out what exactly made it, like, prompted Lonerbox to get in bed with DGG. I'm just not exactly certain. That's the only thing I'm curious about. Because he's now in bed with them. Did the whole fucking propaganda piece in Israel alongside Destiny. Like, the propaganda trip, rather. What else? Oh, it just says all the exact same, like, Hassan Bad sort of nonsense, which is just, like, okay, sure. Oh, the one that's currently on screen? Yes. We can do that. Don't want to listen to my dumbass voice. Oh, instantaneously loaded. How convenient for me. There we go. Engage with your audience. The fuck is that? Being distracted. I mean, listen, Tectone is a lolcow. He's so irrelevant. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, he can put out all the Hassan Bad videos he wants, and it's not gonna matter. He's gonna keep doing it because he's got nothing better to do. Like, unironically. So he could just do that. It's like, whatever. It's like, okay. Sure, man. Hassan Bad. I think he's, like, averaging, like, 600 viewers or 500 something. I saw a tweet about it saying he's, like, averaging, like, 590 viewers on Rumble. It's just like, wow. I mean, he's just dead. It's over for him. His career's dead. It's over. He's just a lolcow. So if he wants to keep making, like, dog shit Hassan Bad videos, sure, man. Whatever. Have fun with it. It's not worth looking at. I gotta look at more interesting stuff. Alright. Let's go over this. I wanted to go. I went over the first Overzealots video where he was, like, talking about all the, like, 3 IQ troglodytes. For example, I have seen this video before already. I mean, it's a good video. Every Overzealots video has been very, very good. Excuse me. But I took a look at the 4 dipshits, the gaggle of dipshits going after Hassan before having really, really bad Israel-Palestine takes because they had no idea what the fuck they're talking about and just being like insane schizos. But here, let's get into this shit. Well, it's been a bit of a while since I've done one of these, shall we say, proverbial, like, I don't know, reacting to content that I mostly agree with or something. Yeah, content that I mostly agree with and seeing what I can really impart on the fucking video. But Overzealots, been a while since we've taken a look at one of his video essays. He makes very, very good video essays ranging in a lot of fucking history. I think his most recent one was on Cuba or something, talking about how America sometimes actually is kind of bad. And I agree with the sentiment of America bad. Well, depending on the situation. Blah, 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 blah. I don't think it's an overall guiding political philosophy. yada, yada, yada. But this one in particular, and I guess this is what helped put, I guess, overzealots on a bunch of people's radars, is his very, very good, I think it was like a 3-part series. Maybe not like a series, but 3 different videos where he covered various individuals, and I know that I've looked at, rather, the first video that he put out of specifically 4 content creators in particular who talked about Israel, issues surrounding around Israel-Palestine. I think it was Mudahar, Ethan Klein, Nux, and Asmongold. Yeah, I don't remember. It's been a while. But I remember it was definitely the first 3. But whatever, I digress. So he made those videos, got on the radar, and then he decided to be like, okay, I also want to go over like older historic talking points and new, more sort of modern talking points, for example, that a lot of Zionists have about Palestinians, right? And I think these are the more modern talking points with this video in particular, right? Where a bunch of Zionists will say, like, oh, well, the Palestinians rejected every peace offer that was given to them. It's not true. Obviously, Palestinians originally wanted to resolve the sort of the conflict between themselves and the Zionists in a peaceful manner alongside international sort of like law and whatnot. They wanted to do that. However, Israel and the Zionists were never fucking interested in all of that because it's always been about the ethnic cleansing for them. Like, you just take a look at what Theodore Herschel himself wrote, and that's always, and I mean always, been the case. So anything that comes out of his mouth should just never be, broadly speaking, believed, or that comes out of the mouth of a Zionist should, broadly speaking, be never believed. And it's because, and just to get this out of the way immediately, right? Zionism is an ethno-supremacist political ideology, whereas with Judaism is a religious and a cultural affiliation, right? They are not the fucking same, right? And I'm going to operate on the assumption that we're probably going to bring up, like, what, Benny Morris, Destiny's definitely going to come up, maybe Loner Box, a couple of, like, the other dipshits, maybe Ethan Klein, probably not Ethan Klein, because who the fuck cares about Ethan Klein, who are probably going to be, like, brought up and said, yeah, this is why their talking points are really bad, because they're just fucking bad, right? And they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Again, like, Yasser Arafat tried to make the Oslo Accords work. It was mostly riots within Israel that made it fucking fall apart because of a bunch of the far-right elements within Israel. I think one of them, not one of them, but basically the further right elements within Israel orchestrated, or not orchestrated, but helped to get, I think it's Yitzhak Rabin assassinated because of the fact that he was trying to go along with the fucking Oslo Accords. Because again, like, as overzealous himself is probably also going to say, Israel was never fucking interested in peace. They never have been interested in peace. It's always been about the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians within, well, the Gaza and also the West Bank, right? And it's always been about ethno-supremacism with them. But I digress. Why don't we take a look into the video?
Each time Israel has agreed to a Palestinian state, the Palestinians have rejected...
Why didn't I fucking think of all the conservatives that also say this stuff? Like a fucking Prager poo and whatnot. I've kind of forgotten about the existence of PragerU, which is probably a bad thing.
...the offer, often violently.
Palestinian people don't really seem interested in peace. Seems like they're still interested in fighting.
The only time Yasser Arafat didn't tell me the truth was when he promised
Hi,
me
Bill Clinton.
he was going to accept the peace deal that we had worked out.
Maybe the answer is to pressure the Palestinians to finally accept the existence of a Jewish state.
They had a state in 1947. They rejected it. And then they repeated that same mistake over and over and over again.
Israel would dismantle the...
Wait, what's the mistake that they tried to repeat over and over and over again? Like, what does that even fucking mean, right? Like, what happened during 1947? What mistake? Like, that was the fucking Nakba. So you're saying that the actions that Zionists took on Palestinians, that was a mistake that they fucking made. What the fuck are we talking about here? That's genuinely insane.
The settlements for real peace in a moment because the Israeli people are much more interested in sending their kids to college and in having a peaceful life.
As the famous quote goes...
Hey, Prager, I have a bad news for you. Unfortunately, those settlements illegal under international law.
Palestinians never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity.
Very stupid.
Let's get this out of the way up front. Israeli officials, whether right or left-wing, were never interested in a fair or reasonable peace settlement with the Palestinians. The goal was always the same.
Including even fucking Ben-Gurion, who's considered to be the most, like, left-leaning, like, Israeli PM. I don't, like, none of these people were ever interested in the honest fucking engagement, because it never was about having honest engagements with these people, like, honestly.
To legitimize and fortify the occupation of the Palestinians while continuing to colonize the land. The idea that Zionists wanted peace while Palestinians were driven only by violence and rejectionism isn't just ahistorical, it's one of the most pernicious lies told about this topic. This video was originally meant to be a segment in a larger video I'm working on where I debunk every Zionist talking point, but that video is getting a bit too long, so I thought I'd give you this one as a standalone while you wait. I'll be going over the main negotiations and supposed peace attempts between Israelis and Palestinians throughout the years, and showing you how every single one was not only unfair to the Palestinians, but also illustrative of the fact that Zionists never aspired to genuine peace in the first place. They only ever wanted control and domination. Let's jump back in time to the 1947 UN Partition Plan, General Assembly Resolution 181, which proposed splitting the land into a Jewish and a Palestinian state. This is viewed by many as one of the first main peace attempts between the indigenous Palestinians and the European Zionist settlers. To really understand the politics surrounding this partition...
So that was basically the sort of attempt... if I recall correctly, basically the sort of attempt that the UN was trying to do to have like a sort of like compromising position on, okay, like we still feel bad for what happened to Jewish people during the Holocaust and whatnot, so we kind of want there to be a Jewish state within fucking Palestine and, you know, the ancestral land of fucking Israel and whatnot, yada, yada, yada. But also as a way to try to deal with the fucking Nakba, because the Nakba happened not too fucking long ago at that particular juncture.
Plan. We need to look at the events that led up to it. Zionists had been settling and colonizing Palestine for decades by that point. They pushed Palestinians into economic subjugation, banned their labor and goods from the market, promoted exclusive Hebrew labor, bought up land, and evicted Palestinians from places they lived and worked for generations. So right from the jump, Palestinians had every right to reject any partition of their land, especially one as blatantly unfair as the 1947 UN Partition Plan, and we'll break down why exactly it was so unjust in a minute. Palestinians at the time rightfully viewed the Zionist settlers as hostile and invaders. To be sure, at first, the Palestinians were warm and hospitable to the Zionists, as is noted by historian Ilan Pape, who wrote that the diaries of the early Zionist settlers are full of anecdotes illustrating how well...
Yes, I remember this as well, and this is something that you're never going to hear out of the mouth of a fucking goddamn Zionist whatsoever, that initially it was... they were being hospitable, right? And there's a reason for that, specifically. Like, for thousands upon thousands of years, Jews and Palestinians have been living in that area, you know, in the fucking Levant for the latter part of, like, several thousand fucking years, right? Like, under... well, all the fucking caliphates and various, like, Muslim empires that have existed during those times, like, you know, the Umayyads, the Rashidans, the Ottomans, the Safavids. I don't know if they made it that. Mamluks, you know, there's a bunch of different ones, right? They have always had, and this is broadly speaking a principle that was even within Islam itself, right? In terms of how they would do their administrations, they'd be like, listen, like, basically, we're going to tax you if you're a part of a different religion. You're not going to be forced to pay the jizya, of course, if you convert to Islam. However, right, and that's obviously not particularly good, but better than what most Latinized Christians would do, and that is just murder people instead. So, you know, take what you can fucking get back during those times. But very, very often, what a lot of the Muslim empires throughout history in that time would constantly do is to help integrate the a lot of the local rulers and, like, local people into their systems of fucking politics and systems of, like, localized governance that they were going to run in those areas, because, well, who's going to know that area better than, well, the native fucking population? And it makes a lot of sense why they would do that, right? Because very often a lot of the Latinized Christian sort of like empire. They would never do that, right? They would always put in their own guy. And the reason for that is to make it such that, well, if the local leader, for example, of an area, right, is going to be someone from that particular populace, then it feels like the foreign occupation, right? Because generally speaking, if a population is being occupied by a foreign entity, they're not going to be particularly pleased about that, generally speaking, right? That's just a general trend throughout the entirety of history, and it makes sense why. Duh, obviously. They don't practice your culture, your customs, and the general practices that you do within the local area that you've been doing for the latter part of like decades or centuries or what have you. Blah, 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 right? So that makes sense. The thing is that a way to sort of combat that a lot of the caliphates would do was just like, oh, why don't we just like input in like local sort of like governors of the area, local sort of individuals that we can, broadly speaking, have to run the administrative, I was going to say burden, but like to run the administration within the area that we just conquered or whatever. It's going to make it such that there's less rebellions. It's going to be stable in terms of like public order, blah, 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 blah. Shit like that, right? Pretty standard, like, empire building stuff. Very, very often, and like, I guess not very often, but like this is kind of like the sort of same similar attitude that was held, I think, generally speaking, in most of like the Muslim populations, because they've been living with a bunch of different like religious affiliations and individuals for the latter part of like centuries. So it's just like, yeah, whatever, like who really gives much of a shit at all? And that's like kind of a tradition that they've had for like centuries, for lack of a better term, which I find unfortunately might be getting destroyed because of what Zionists are doing within the Levant. That sort of like general sort of desire for cooperation. I find that to be particularly sad. But I mean, like, it makes a lot of sense why the Palestinians initially just like were hospitable and like welcoming to the fucking settlers, the Zionist settlers, because they're just like, oh yeah, some more people like moving in, just like how we had a bunch of Jewish people living with us back in the olden days of the fucking Ottoman Empire. Yeah, sure, whatever. Like, that's cool. Like, who cares, right?
Received they were by the Palestinians. Papa even explains how Palestinians offered the early Zionist settlers employment, shelter, and were open to working shoulder to shoulder with them, but that changed once the true nature of the Zionist cause became clear. As American biblical scholar Miller Burrows wrote, the opposition of the Arabs to the Zionists is based not only on economic and political, but also psychological grounds. The attitude of the Zionists toward the Arabs, at its worst, has been that of our Western frontiersmen who said that the only good Indian was a dead Indian. And at its best, the Zionist attitude to the Arabs had been patronizing and paternalistic. So let's take a detailed look at...
Yeah, so basically, it's the same fucking shit as... What's the name? Like Paul Revere, like your frontiersmen, your fucking Western settlers that pushed out indigenous people throughout fucking history, the Trail of Tears type shit, whatnot, right? Like, and Theodore Herschel made it very, very clear himself in his writings that this was always the point.
The 1947 partition plan and how exactly it was so unfair to the Palestinians. Right off the bat, its terms were incredibly imbalanced, favoring the Jewish minority at the direct expense of the Palestinian majority. In 1947, Jews constituted less than a third of Palestine's population and owned under 7% of its land. The UN's partition plan allocated 56% of Palestine to a proposed Jewish state, encompassing most fertile agricultural areas. The remaining 43%, much of it arid land, was designated for the Palestinian state. And that's not even mentioning the fact that Palestinians were precluded from having a strategic port on the Red Sea or a direct communication route with Syria, and much of the land that had been cultivated with wheat and fruit went to the Jewish state. The 1947 partition also...
Well, that's a little interesting. Now, listen. Just do a little bit. We're doing a little fucking memeing here. I don't know. This seems like some fucking DEI policy to me. I don't know, dude. Like, this seems like a very, very, very DEI partition. I don't know why. What did exactly the Zionists do in order to fucking deserve having all the more arable, better land? I couldn't possibly think of anything.
Created a massive demographic imbalance. The proposed Jewish state would include in it a large Palestinian population, about 45 to 47%. Of the 16 Palestinian districts, 9 were assigned to the Jewish state, even though only one of those had a Jewish majority. Meaning, a relatively small, recently arrived settler population that owned a tiny fraction of the land was suddenly granted more than half of it, and Palestinians were expected to accept that arrangement, and in many cases, live under their rule. Clearly
Guys, I feel like, listen, This is played out in history consistently, right? Feel like same thing in South Africa, same thing in India, same thing in... Basically, you just look throughout the entire history of colonialism, this has always been the same thing. A minority population having, well, power and the ability to implement policy upon a, well, majority native fucking population within the land. Like, this has... Whoa, it's the same thing that always happens every single time when there's fucking settler colonial projects, so who would have thought?
The 47 partition plan favored the Jewish state. The Zionists, by contrasting their acceptance of this partition plan with the Palestinians' rightful rejection of it, were able to frame the Palestinians as unreasonable and uninterested in peace, a trope that remains to this day. However, even though the Zionists accepted this partition plan, they never intended to stop their conquest there. They had always planned to expand their territories and continue the ethnic cleansing and colonization of Palestine. The 47 partition plan just gave them the international legitimacy they needed at the time. David Ben-Gurion, the leader of the Zionist settler movement, openly admitted that his real goal was to take all of Palestine, and that accepting partition was just a way to get his foot in the door. See, back in 1937, there was...
Yes, because, again, if... For example, they were to try to do, again, Nakba to Electric fucking goddamn Boogaloo. Optically speaking, it would not look particularly great because of World War II that just happened.
Was actually an earlier attempt at partition between the Zionists and the Palestinians called the Peel Commission. This too was unfair to the Palestinians, proposing a forced partition that handed over much of the best, most economically valuable land to the Jewish minority, and this came after years of economic disenfranchisement forced onto the Palestinians by Zionist labor unions like the Histadrut. So the Zionists accepted this and the Palestinians refused it. But don't be fooled into thinking that the Zionists were acting as peaceful doves. They weren't. As private letters from David Ben-Gurion show, his acceptance of the Peel Commission was a strategic first step, and he never intended to refrain from further conquest of Palestinian land. He wrote to his son that his real goal was, quote, the possession of the land as a whole, and that by accepting the 1937 Peel Commission, his movement would gain international legitimacy and take the first step toward conquering all of Palestine. While addressing the Zionist executive in 1937...
Wait, overzealous, are you trying to tell me that these people are constant fucking liars? And that throughout history, Zionists have always been liars? Because, again, as Theodore Herschel made it very clear in himself in his fucking writings, that the fucking movement in and of itself was always inherently meant to be something that's colonial. Something nationalistic. I, for one, am shocked.
Ben-Gurion reiterated his ambitions and said his long-term goal was to, quote, abolish partition and expand to the whole of Palestine. This disingenuous first-step philosophy of the Zionists was an underlying motive for their acceptance of the later 1947 UN partition plan. The UN partition plan, by granting said veneer of legitimacy to the Zionist movement, gave them the, quote, green light to launch their long-contemplated and delayed conquest of such a state, as historian Walid Khalidi wrote. Khalidi argues that the international endorsement gave Zionist paramilitary groups the alibi to establish the new Jewish state by force of arms under the guise of conforming to the UN's will, and the historical record supports his claim. Empowered by the UN vote, Zionist forces swiftly intensified their attacks on Palestinian villages and urban areas in late 1947.
Which, by the way, this is the main reasoning for as to why a lot of the Arab states in the area eventually started to attack Israel, right? Because of their treatment of the fucking Palestinians. A lot of it, of course, resulting in the fucking Nakba, of course. And eventually, this helped to prompt the first fucking Arab-Israeli war.
In early 1948, before the end of the British Mandate and prior to the entry of any Arab armies into Palestine. In short, the 1947 partition plan was unfair to the Palestinians. The events that led up to it, as well as the specifics of the deal, make it more than reasonable for the Palestinians to reject such a plan. Another reason Palestinians and their advocates are framed as chronic rejectors of peace is their disapproval of how United Nations Security Council Resolution 242 was implemented. And even how
so this is the one that this would be after the Six-Day War, right? Was attempting to partition the current borders that we have today, right? With just the West Bank of for the Palestinians in Gaza, the Gaza Strip, right? And the rest of the land being partitioned to the Israelis, of course, which the Israelis, for example, are trampling on currently, because this is supposed to be the current standard that is in place right now. The UN has constantly talked about that with the illegal settlements happening right now within the West Bank, it's a violation of this Security Council resolution, right? That was meant to partition the current fucking borders within Palestine. So it's just like, okay, dude, like... When are we not going to have our, like, fell for it again awards for, like, these obvious, like, blatant charlatans and fucking liars who have just never been really interested whatsoever in fucking peace? Because, I mean, it should be really, really obvious that these jabronis here, the Zionists, of course, they're not interested in peace. If they were fucking interested in peace, then why would they constantly be behaving like this? You have to like ask yourself this fucking question, but no one seems to want to answer them. Like ask these fucking questions. It's a little strange, isn't it?
It was written in the first place. A little context. UN Security Council Resolution 242, crafted by the US, was passed in the aftermath of the 1967 Six-Day War and introduced the idea of land for peace, where Israel would get peace and recognition in exchange for withdrawing from the territories it had just occupied. But right from the start, the resolution was deliberately...
So that would be, of course, what? It was the Golan Heights, Mount Sinai, the Sinai Peninsula, and that was also originally the fucking West Bank as well, if I recall correctly.
It didn't call for a withdrawal from all occupied territories, just territories, without specifying how many or which ones. The missing word "the" before the word territories in the English version of the resolution has been the most controversial part. Pro-Israel voices argue that this omission was intentional, meaning Israel wasn't required to pull out of all of the land it had seized, just some, depending on what...
Wait, do they really make the fucking argument that they should have stayed in, like, all of that fucking territory? Really? And we're doing, like, rhetorical fucking sleight of hands in order to justify it? Jesus Christ, they really wanted to keep, like, all that fucking land that they conquered in fucking Egypt. I mean, like, listen, they've gotten partially what they wanted with Trump basically saying, like, oh yeah, well, you know what? Some of this stuff that's been proposed for within the 1967 proposals there, well, you know what? Personally, I think that Israel should have that territory within the Golan Heights. And I mean, he unironically did recognize the fucking Golan Heights for the fucking Israelis, like, unironically. Like, bruh, it's so fucking goofy, man.
It decided was necessary for its secure and recognized boundaries. Never mind the fact that the French version of the resolution does include the definite article and leaves no room for ambiguity. French is also an official UN language, and under UN rules, all language versions are equally authoritative. Nonetheless, Israel later capitalized on the vague English translation to maintain its occupation of conquered territories, with former Israeli Deputy Prime Minister Abba Eban stressing that his government would only consider the English text as binding. Lord Caradon, the British diplomat who helped...
That's actually some real fuck shit, I'm not gonna lie here. We only care about the English language. That's the only one that matters. Like, motherfucker, like, official languages of the UN, they don't give a shit. I don't know, man. I feel that's some fucking real fucking Weasley shit. I really don't like that kind of stuff.
Draft the resolution, later admitted that this ambiguity was intentional. Israeli legal advisor Yoel Singer argued that this kind of constructive ambiguity created a lasting loophole, one Israel has exploited to justify refusing full withdrawal from occupied territories. The most tangible consequence has been Israel's continued settlement expansion in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, claiming the final status of these areas remains subject to negotiation and that full withdrawal isn't required. As historians...
Yeah, but they're not interested in negotiations. Like, what negotiations have been done, right? Like... They don't give a fuck about the negotiations. The point always has been to not negotiate. I mean, very, very fucking Weasley behavior here by Israel.
Rashid Khalidi put it, Security Council Resolution 242 linked any Israeli withdrawal to peace treaties with the Arab states and the establishment of secure frontiers. In practice, this meant that any withdrawals would be both conditional and delayed, given the Arab states' reluctance to engage in direct negotiations with Israel. By linking Israel's...
I wonder why the Arab states might be reluctant in negotiating directly with Israel. You know, I just wonder why, you know. Sure, there couldn't be any possible good reason for that whatsoever.
Withdrawal from occupied territories to the creation of secure and recognized boundaries, Security Council Resolution 242 allowed for the possibility of enlarged Israeli borders to meet the criterion of security as determined by Israel. The ambiguous language of Security Council Resolution 242 left open another loophole for Israel to retain the territories it had just occupied. In the half-century since, with American help, Israel has driven a coach and horses through this linguistic gap, which has permitted it to colonize the occupied Palestinian and Syrian territories, some of which, East Jerusalem and the Golan Heights, it has formally annexed, and to maintain its unending military control over them. But 242's problems go even deeper. It says absolutely nothing about Palestine or Palestinians. It reduces their entire struggle to a vague mention of a just settlement of the refugee problem, as if they're just an inconvenient humanitarian issue, not a displaced people with an internationally recognized right to return and a claim to their land. Rashid Khalidi calls this omission...
Sorry, listen. Unfortunately, it's a little too complicated for Whittle Israel to really engage with, so therefore it's time for the issue to never be fucking settled whatsoever. No, it's too inconvenient.
a third declaration of war on Palestinians after the Balfour Declaration and the UN Partition Plan of 1947. By reframing the conflict as a territorial dispute between Israel and Arab states, 242 effectively erased Palestinians as a political community with national rights, all while masquerading as some sort of peace proposal and solution to the quote-unquote conflict. And to make things worse, 242 has become the benchmark for resolving the entire conflict. I put the word conflict in heavy.
Yeah, that's obviously fucking bullshit. Like, yeah, man, like... Yeah, dude, totally. Because Israel can just be like, well, you know, this one language here, yeah, we don't actually care about it. It's not the real language. We only care about the English interpretation, which is the one that the U.S. more than likely wrote for them. That's benefiting them the most. And it's already inherently, well, unfair to fucking Palestinians because I guess, as expected from fucking Israel, they don't think of Palestinians as a political entity, even though they are or I think they were the majority population living within Israel at this current juncture. But well, you know, can't be having that. That'd be too inconvenient for the narrative of fucking Zionists.
Heavy quotations because typically that word implies two forces of equal might going at it. But what we see here is
They're
colonization
not.
and genocide of a defenseless people. The term doesn't seem all too applicable. Khalidi goes on to write that UN Security Council Resolution 242 erased Palestinians from the equation, framing the situation as a state-to-state issue between Israel and other Arab countries, and legitimizing Israel's 1948 conquests, essentially helping bury the colonial roots of the antagonism between the Zionists and the Palestinians, and sidelining Palestinian rights under the guise of post-1967 diplomacy. By ignoring the refugee crisis and core issues from 1948, it handed Israel and the US a framework to isolate and deflect the Palestinian question altogether. Clearly, 242 is an obstacle to peace, not the harbinger of it. By shifting the conversation to only already existing states and secure borders while ignoring the rights of the people living under occupation, 242 laid the framework for future negotiations where Palestinian freedom was barely even treated as an afterthought, where they were offered token autonomy, while real sovereignty stayed off the table. The 1978 Camp David Accords between Israel and Egypt are a perfect example. Based on the 242 framework of land for peace, Egypt acknowledged Israel, and in return, Israel stopped occupying Egyptian land in the Sinai Peninsula.
Yes, so this is, of course, the byproduct of the Six-Day War right here, right? Where the Arab states decided to do another attack on Israel because of how they were treating Palestinians, because obviously, the terrible treatment of Palestinians being done by the Israelis was still happening, and it was still really bad. Like, yada, 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 you know, fucking standard shit, right?
Like UN Security Council Resolution 242, the 1978 Camp David Accords ignored Palestinian aspirations for statehood and national rights. Rather than proposing a Palestinian state, they merely offered full autonomy for the inhabitants of the West Bank and Gaza, without any promise of sovereignty or self-determination.
Yeah, like, again, kind of, what do we mean by full autonomy? That can really mean fucking anything, right? We don't know if that means sovereign. Because, again, the reason specifically for as to why Israel very, very desperately does not want the Palestinians to have a fucking state is because they know that if the Palestinians do have the ability to get a state, that means they can have fucking UN representation, and that's going to be quite a, shall we say, a difficult problem for the Israelis to fucking deal with, right? Because that means they can have votes on UN resolutions, they can assert their own sort of like autonomy and fucking rights, which obviously Israel does not want, because they want to be able to continue to abuse the population of the fucking Palestinians within the the West Bank, the Gaza and whatnot. Like, I mean, for fuck's sake, they're unironically trying to do another fucking occupation of Gaza to this fucking day with the current fucking, shall we say, war that has just finished.
As scholars Seth and Ziska put it, this approach stressed the concept of individual rights for Arab inhabitants of the occupied territories while precluding territorial control or the possibility of statehood. In preferring autonomy as an alternative to self-rule, Israeli diplomats sought to mitigate criticism of the occupation while simultaneously extending Israeli state sovereignty beyond the 1967 borders. But as Rashid...
And by the way, we can also talk about like other minority populations who have had quote-unquote autonomy within a bunch of these like settler colonial states before, right? For example, South fucking Africa, because that's the exact same stuff that they were trying to do as well during the apartheid in South Africa, trying to give some form of autonomy to the majority black population that were living there. Same thing with a bunch of other states when they've had like minority fucking populations as well. Like, for example, like, what do you think the fucking reservation system basically is within North America and also Canada? That's essentially what it is, right? It's supposed to be a way to be like, here's like our token way to basically make any, shall we say, criticisms of us for how we treat the native populations within these areas as like a way to basically deflect from that, so then we don't have to take any responsibility for any of our fucking actions. So, you know, we can just do our like little token thing here to be like, actually, no, guys, we're totally not bad. We totally didn't do anything wrong, right? When in reality, it's not an actual addressing of the problem, of the underlying root issue, and that is the fact that the occupying force is essentially doing everything possible to abuse the fucking native population that's living within the borders of the indigenous populations of those fucking particular states. When, by the way, like literally, as has been historically written about before, the Palestinians were like, yeah, dude, I mean, if you guys are chill, we can be chill. That's totally fine and cool. And the only people who had zero chill were, the fucking Israelis. Or not the Israelis, well, the Zionists specifically. This is before they were Israelis. I mean, it's just, they are very much so weaselly little liars. The Zionists and also all of the Western powers have basically done everything possible to run cover for the actions of the colonists.
Khalidi argued in reference to the 78 Camp David summit, there was no genuine autonomy being offered to the Palestinians to begin with. These provisions were stillborn, the Palestinian autonomy provisions, because at the Camp David summit, Prime Minister Begin had insisted against the objections of President Carter and President Sadat on denying the Palestinians self-determination or control over security or land or water or an end to Israeli settlement expansion. In other words, Begin was offering them autonomy without allowing them anything worthy in the name of autonomy. Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin also refused to involve the Palestinians in any way in these talks, and the first framework, the one that dealt...
Oh, whoa, so you're telling me, like, every single time when a particular sort of population is talked about in terms of maintaining their fucking autonomy, they don't get fucking included in any of those talks? Just like what happened with the Abrahamic Accords when Benjamin Netanyahu explicitly said to keep the Palestinians out? I, for one, am completely shocked, guys.
Directly with the fate of the Palestinians, was written without the involvement of the Palestinians. The 1978 Camp David Accords were more or less an Israel and Egypt peace treaty. Furthermore, by normalizing relations between Israel and Egypt, a powerful Arab state, the Palestinian cause actually lost a valuable ally and negotiating chip due to these accords, setting the movement back. No wonder the Palestinians weren't happy. I hope you guys are picking up on this pattern by now. In many instances, the Palestinians aren't involved in these supposed peace attempts, yet they're still held responsible whenever they express their unhappiness with the situation. That's why it's incredibly dishonest for people to point to events like the 78 Camp David Accords as though they were some olive branch extended to the intransigent.
They were not, obviously. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that Israel is being dishonest, guys. Grrr!
Palestinians, when in reality, the Palestinians were barely mentioned, let alone invited. A peace deal that works for Egypt does not automatically work for Palestinians. Arabs are not a monolith. Shortly after Camp David in 78, the Oslo peace process started. The Oslo Accords, the first of which being signed on the White House lawn in 1993, are often sold as a historic peace breakthrough, but are actually the peak of a long-running Israeli strategy to entrench control. Rather than ending the occupation, Oslo repackaged it, creating a system of indirect rule that looked like Palestinian self-governance, but gave Israel tighter, more cost-effective control over the land and its people. Palestinian-American academic Abdul El-Sayed famously called it the Palestinian Versailles, since it forced a colonized people negotiating from a position of weakness into an imbalanced deal. And that imbalance was clear from the start.
It was a bad deal,
the leader of
folks.
the Palestinian Liberation Organization recognized Israel's right to exist in peace and security, accepted UN Security Council Resolution 242, and renounced violence, while Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin only acknowledged the PLO as the representative of the Palestinian people, not their...
Right, and we have the current sort of juncture that we have right now where essentially the PLO is more or less like a fucking puppet of the of the Israelis at this point in time. Like, it's guys, would you believe it if I said that it did not work out exactly as I guess the Palestinians would have wanted it to, because by design it was never going to work out, right? Yes, Mahmoud Abbas. I know I have a buddy who's a Palestinian, and he fucking hates Mahmoud Abbas. He is not a fucking fan for good reason.
right to a state or self-determination. Oslo also brushed off core issues like the Palestinian right of return, kicking them down the road with no real plan to ever actually address them, just a vague promise to revisit things after the interim period. As Edward Said pointed out, the Accords were silent on the issue of Israeli settlement expansion, which, as he predicted, only accelerated during the so-called peace process. He also noted that the agreement was purposefully silent on how the interim phase would lead to a final settlement, leaving the door wide open for that temporary stage to drag on forever. Meanwhile,
why am I not surprised?
Kept full military control over the Palestinian territories. If anything, Oslo made the occupation of the Palestinians cheaper and easier for Israel to manage by creating a collaborationist organization called the Palestinian Authority, or the PA, which was formed out of the PLO and tasked with doing the heavy lifting for Israel. From the start.
Guys, are you... Now, people probably may ask the question why, especially a lot of these blue MAGA fucking dipshits, right? Why... Oh, well, I mean, literally, why are people so upset in Dearborn, Michigan about, like, Bill Clinton going around and talking about, like, Judea and fucking Samaria? This is why, dude. This is why they were not particularly happy about that. Because, like, unironically, the Palestinians got a fucking raw deal out of this. It's like, oh, but they were talking about autonomy. Yeah, autonomy. Like, what exactly do we mean by that? Like... Yeah, sure, they have autonomy, but they have, like, no way to be able to represent themselves. Like, so, like, what kind of autonomy is this? It's a farce. That's the fucking main issue that people are talking about. But, nah, you're never gonna get any of that from these, like, stupid dipshits.
The Palestinian Authority's main role, laid out in the Accords and pushed by both Israel and the U.S., was security. Said warned that the PLO was being turned into Israel's enforcer, with its security forces tasked on cracking down on any Palestinian resistance, whether violent or not, to the occupation and ongoing settlement expansion. The PA more or less gave a Palestinian face and a veneer of legitimacy to a system where Israel still held all the real power. In practice, Palestinian Authority security forces, often trained by the CIA, worked closely with Israeli forces, as analyst Tanya Reinhardt noted, including intelligence sharing and efforts to suppress opposition groups like Hamas. And the Oslo Accords did more than just create a proxy political authority. They reshaped the map of
not
the
Ham-ass.
in a system of fragmentation and control that made a viable, sovereign Palestinian state nearly impossible. The second Oslo Accord, the one from 1995, carved the West Bank into 3 areas: Area A, B.
Yes, now, this is pretty much the main thing that basically made it such that it is impossible for a Palestinian state to now exist. Well, I mean, technically speaking, it's more impossible now than ever before. You know what I fucking mean. It basically this, like, strange partitioning that was, shall we say, proposed here by the second Oslo Accords made it such that, yeah, a fucking Palestinian state, yeah, that shit's not gonna fucking happen anytime soon.
And C. Area C made up 60% of the West Bank and was to be under full Israeli civil and security control. Area B made up 22% of the West Bank and was to be under Palestinian Authority civil control and joint Israeli security control. And Area A made up only 18% of the West Bank and was to be under Palestinian control. However, Israel still conducts illegal raids in Area A whenever they want. So even that tiny sliver, that tiny 18% that they get, they don't really get. This division broke the West Bank into a bunch of Palestinian enclaves, areas A and B, scattered within a continuous stretch of Israeli-controlled territory, Area C. It was a form of geographic gerrymandering that gave Palestinians administrative control over their population centers, but denied them authority over land, resources, and the territorial continuity needed for a viable state. Israeli-American anthropologist Jeff Halper describes this Oslo-induced shitshow in the West Bank as an intricate and interlocking series of control mechanisms that immobilizes the Palestinian population without the need for a constant Israeli military presence in the region. The key elements of control...
And by the way, even without the constant need of a fucking military force going in there. Like, for example, we know that the Israelis will consistently give arms and fucking weapons to settlers in order to be able to, shall we say, I guess for lack of a better term, do their own enforcement, for lack of a better term.
Includes settlements and settler-only roads that cut through the West Bank, linking Israeli areas while splitting up Palestinian ones. A maze of permits and planning rules keeping Palestinians from building or...
Like, by the way, I just need to reiterate this, because this is, by the way, the exact same shit that happened in where? Oh, fucking South Africa. Literally, this is the exact same fucking line of behavior. And, you know, people will rightfully say, like, oh, South Africa is kind of bad for apartheid. It's like, yes, good job. Very, very cool. But then, like, you bring up fucking Israel, right? And Nelson Mandela would constantly show solidarity with a lot of the with the Palestinians, the PLO, and the radicals within Palestine, consistently, right? And people would, like, ask questions, being like, well, why would he do that? It's just like, well, dog, do you see what's happening within the West Bank, within fucking Palestine? It's the exact same fucking shit. It literally, like, 1-to-1, like, historically speaking. So, Like, you people are shocked Pikachu facing about this? Like, this isn't shocking whatsoever. I mean, this is like, it's 1-to-1, pretty much. More people now think South Africa should return to the old apartheid system. Why am I not surprised?
Or expanding, as well as walls, checkpoints, and roadblocks that turn Palestinian towns into isolated Bantustans, all while Israel controls the borders.
Like, dude, like, it's fucking wild, dude. Like, the ways that this is being essentially done and fucking justified should be... Like, you just look at this and you're like, what the fuck is this, like, fucking insane schizo maze that's, like, that's, like, going on here? It's like, Jesus Christ, bro.
Water, airspace, resources, and Palestinians' freedom of movement. The logic behind this stems from the long-standing Israeli policy of establishing facts on the ground. The idea was simple. By flooding the West Bank with illegal settlements, Israel could create an undeniable material reality, and over time, that reality, despite being a...
Yeah, by the way, yeah, fact on the ground that these people decided to conjure up out of nowhere. It's just like, well, hold on, you guys didn't have this here before, and it's in violation of even one of the proposals that they decided to fucking agree with, of Council Resolution fucking 242. So it's just like, okay, this isn't this is just like a construction of your people's minds. Like, you just made this shit up. Why? Because you want to, oppress Palestinians. Whoa, shocker, I know.
Blatant violation of international law would be treated as a permanent, fait accompli that the world would eventually just learn to live with. The core problem with the Oslo peace process, as Halper puts it, is that it confuses land with real independence. Israel can hand over nominal control of all the land it wants, but if what Halper refers to as the matrix of control stays in place, what you get isn't a true Palestinian state, it's a patchwork of powerless enclaves still under Israel's thumb. The truly insidious...
And this is the exact same thing I have mentioned before. Like, we can talk about autonomy, we can talk about all this stuff and whatnot, right? Like, it's like, yeah, sure, that's, like, nice and all, but, like, that's not actually going to be, like, real sovereignty of which the Palestinians have been looking for the latter part of, like, what, 100 fucking years at this point. Like, this isn't sovereignty, right? And that's the main problem that a lot of people are having with the actions of fucking Israel in particular, where it's just like, well, okay, you make the claim that, of course, like, byproducts of all these differing genocides that happened tragically to Jewish people. No, we have to also, like, atone for all these different sins, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, dog, like, by essentially fucking over a differing population, right, the native population that was living there, in favor of the fucking... minorities that were, like, allowed to bring in because of, like, the sins of the past or something, like this is what we're doing. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's one of those things where you just look at it and it's just like, wow, this is pretty fucked up, isn't it?
Aspect of the Oslo peace process was that it swapped out the obvious signs of military occupation for a quieter, more bureaucratic system of oppression, all while drastically expanding Israel's illegal settlements.
Exactly like what the Democrats want. Very cool.
Years 2000 and 2001, we saw another set of supposed peace attempts in the forms of another Camp David summit and the Taba talks in Egypt, predicated on the Clinton parameters, respectively. These negotiations took place between Yasser Arafat of the PLO, Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, and U.S. President Bill Clinton. The mythology surrounding this era of peace negotiations goes like this. Ehud Barak made a very generous offer to the Palestinians at Camp David, but Yasser Arafat, due to his supposed love for violence over diplomacy, turned it down and destroyed any hope for peace.
Sure.
Billy Clinton came out of nowhere and offered the Clinton parameters as a last-ditch effort to salvage peace. These parameters were super great and totally fair for the Palestinians, but they still irrationally rejected the proposal at Taba in Egypt.
I can't believe that those irrational... Yeah, we know about Ehud Barak. Yeah, he is... that dumbass has a lot of associations with a very, very palatable, shall we say, entrepreneur. If you fucking know, you know, right? Like... Of course he's in the fucking Epstein files, dude. Like, the fact that the Palestinians are still being given basically a raw deal throughout all of this, and people will still just find a way to fucking blame the Palestinians for it. It's just like, I find that to be so fucking ridiculous, man. It's just like, okay, bro. It's like, what do you want from these guys? Like, they have done literally everything that they're supposed to. They tried to cooperate, or just to try to live peacefully with the Israeli settlers. Didn't fucking work. They did all these negotiations throughout the latter part of about 80 fucking years. Doesn't fucking work. And, like, it's like, now we're gonna, like, all shock Pikachu face when they decide to do violence. When they decide to, like, carry out violence against their fucking occupiers. Like, why should we be surprised by that whatsoever? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
like every other Zionist talking point, is bullshit. This narrative of the missed opportunity has been used ever since to absolve Israel of responsibility for continuing to oppress the Palestinians. But if we take a look at what exactly was being offered to the Palestinians during...
Because if I recall correctly, like, the Oslo Accords from the beginning, this was in response to the first Intifada, right? And the Palestinian March of Return, right? That was being orchestrated by more radical elements within either, like, Palestine, Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas, yada, 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 right? Because of the recognition, it's like, dog, if we don't fucking do something right now, like, it's only going to get worse and worse for the Palestinians who are being occupied, right? And, well, it unfortunately didn't end up working out. And also because, we've talked about this point before, but there's a reason why a lot of the more secular sort of, like, nationalists, generally speaking, were given, I guess for lack of a better term, a very hard time in negotiations with the Americans and whatnot, right? And the reasoning for that in particular is because the Israelis were never really interested at all whatsoever in fucking peace, right? Like, it's like we've mentioned this already before. None of these motherfuckers were actually interested in doing peace. None of these motherfuckers were actually interested whatsoever in basically having outcomes that were going to be conducive for something beneficial coming for the fucking Palestinian people. No one gave a shit about any of that stuff. No one ever wanted that. So, like, should we all shock Pikachu face, right? That the Palestinians are going to act out fucking violently in a bit of a metaphorical sense here, like a cornered sort of animal in like a cage? Like, no, of course not. Like, I mean, this was always the inevitable sort of outcome of all this fucking behavior. But, you know, we'll still have dipshits say, like, actually, Bill Clinton gave them an opportunity for peace. It's like, well, did he? Like, the Palestinians still have no sovereignty. They have no autonomy. They're still being fucking occupied. All of the actions of Israel are essentially being fucking legitimized. And you people are, like, shocked Pikachu facing that the Palestinians are trying to do something about it. Like, I mean, you can have criticism, sure, of their methodology. It's like, okay, that's fine, whatever. Like, yeah, man, whatever. The way they're doing it is not particularly great. But it wouldn't have to be like this if every other option wasn't fucking already exhausted from the beginning. Like, I don't know. I always just find that excuse from a lot of, like, Zionists to be really, really fucking lazy, to be honest.
Period, and analyze the accounts of the negotiators and analysts who were part of the Camp David process, we see that Barak's supposedly generous offer wasn't a genuine path to Palestinian statehood, but rather a proposal for a fractured, non-sovereign Bantustan. Former Israeli Foreign Minister Shlomo Ben-Ami, who was a prominent actor in the Camp David peace negotiations of 2000, said himself that if he were Palestinian, he would have turned down the offer too. So let's start by taking a detailed look at the Camp David summit of 2000, then we'll examine the also unfair Clinton parameters which set the stage for the Tabet talks in Egypt, which ultimately failed, not due to Palestinian intransigence, but mostly due to external political factors on the US and Israeli side. At Camp David in 2000, the quote-unquote generous offer made by Ehud Barak proposed Israel's withdrawal from 91% of the West Bank. But don't let that offer trick you. Israel was working with a dishonest definition of the West Bank, not the internationally recognized one. Israel's concept...
Oh, let me guess. Okay, hold on. Before we continue, I'm going to take a quick guess, okay? They're thinking of, like, the schizophrenic patchwork that Israel has put together, right? Like, is that what they mean by the West Bank? It's technically sure the West Bank, but it's like the bastardized version. They're not going to use the recognized version from 1967, are they? They're not doing that. Yeah, they're not doing that.
Of the West Bank left out key areas like massive Israeli settlement blocks, post-67 East Jerusalem, which is 71 square kilometers, the no man's land near Latrun, which is 50 square kilometers, and the Dead Sea's territorial waters, which is 195 square kilometers. By shrinking the map of the West Bank before talks even started...
So I was correct. I'm in the head of Israelis, I guess. I don't... okay, of all the people that you don't want to be in the head of, I don't think you want to be in the head of those guys.
the offer was already undercut. It meant a future Palestinian state on at most 86% of the West Bank, not 91%. The portion of land inside the West Bank that Israel intended to keep wasn't chosen at random. It contained the largest Israeli settlements, which were positioned to split the West Bank into several separate isolated areas. For Palestinians to travel between these areas, they would have to use
which, by the way, of course, were stuff that was already illegally fucking established by Israel. Because again, like, in terms of like the settlements that was happening in the West Bank right around this time, it was not as like pervasive and aggressive as it is now. Now you'll have like some Democrats be like, maybe not like mealy-mouthed about it. They'll say like, yeah, this is bad and it's kind of actually illegal to have some principles in this, right? Because it is a violation of international law, and for a liberal party to say have problems with violation of international law is in line with their ideology, of course, which, you know, should be, of course, but none of them actually practice it all that much because they're all a liberal. But that's a different point, of course. Different point. The Israelis were already doing a bunch of fucking settlements during this time, right? Not as aggressive as it is now. Of course, policies have changed within Israel where they want to be significantly more aggressive, especially under Benjamin Netanyahu, who, if given the opportunity, if he could stub his toe and it somehow fucks over 5 Palestinians, he'll constantly stub his toe all the time. He'll do it. He doesn't really give a shit, right? The thing specifically with the behavior of a bunch of these, I was going to say, like, Clintonites or some shit. I mean, not like the Clintonites. With a bunch of these, like, fucking dumbasses, it's been made rather clear that a lot of these people are just wholeheartedly, like, uninterested whatsoever in producing, like, the effective outcomes that's been expected whatsoever for the Palestinians. A actual, like, fair, equitable outcome for the Palestinians because, again, a lot of complicated military-industrial complex interests, because there's been a lot more investment going into there in Israel in, shall we say, recent fucking goddamn decades for a lot of obvious reasons because of capital interests and yada yada yada, all that fucking stuff. It's made it such that where it's just like, well, dog, like, what the fuck are you really supposed to expect? Like, the Palestinians getting, like, shall we say, I guess, pissed, for lack of a better term, of the behaviors that Israel, generally speaking, has been engaging with shouldn't be really surprising to much of anyone whatsoever. It's just like, dog, like, you've been fucking them over so much, the settlements are already going up, which is already a violation of fucking international law. And you guys are, like, shocked Pikachu facing that they're trying to do something about it. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm just going to keep reiterating that point over and over and over again. It's just like, okay, man, like, oh, you keep telling me, Daho, that the Palestinians keep getting an unfair deal again and again and again by the Western world, and the Western world starts to act all shocked and surprised that they've been getting these fucking unfair deals, and generally speaking, it makes perfect sense that they would try to act out and try to do something about it. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, man. It's just, I just find it to be so fucking annoying. All these like generous offers that the Palestinians have been consistently offering. And by the way, even at this particular juncture, I think there were also a bunch of illegal settlements happening within Gaza at the same time. So it's just like, why the fuck should we ever trust anything that comes out of the mouth of the fucking Israelis, man? Like, they have proven time and time again that they are not honest negotiators. They are not interested in a fair fucking deal. So people being like shocked and surprised that they eventually would act out fucking violently in the way that they are, this shouldn't be really surprising whatsoever if we have history to go off of.
Bypass roads built on land taken from them. Since Israel would control these roads, the Palestinian state would become a disconnected patchwork, unable to control its...
Oh yeah, and again, like, listen, this is the exact same shit that happened in South Africa, man.
Travel and trade, which would ruin its chances of building an independent economy. And that's not even mentioning the unequal land swaps that Israel proposed. To make up for Israel taking what they dishonestly claimed was just 9% of the West Bank, Israel offered a land swap of just 1% of land within the Green Line. a lopsided 9-to-1 deal. And it wasn't just about numbers. The land Israel wanted to keep in the West Bank was fertile, sat on key water sources, and included strategic high ground. What they offered in return was mostly dry, degraded desert land in the Negev, far less economically valuable. The proposal said Israel would keep long-term security control over the Jordan Valley, which makes up the entire eastern border of the West Bank with Jordan. If Israel controlled it, the Palestinian state wouldn't have a real international border or control over its own crossings, leaving it effectively surrounded by Israel. On the topic of Jerusalem...
Yep, it would basically be completely landlocked. Just cooked, basically.
Proposal gave Palestinians symbolic control over a few neighborhoods and religious sites while locking in Israel's illegal settlements in the city. All in all, the Camp David proposals of 2000 envisioned a Palestinian state that would, in function, enjoy no sovereignty. The state was to be demilitarized with only a lightly armed police force for internal security. Israel would retain total control over Palestinian airspace and the electromagnetic spectrum, so things like internet, radio, satellite, etc. This overwhelming control would mean that Israel would basically have veto power over the Palestinian economy, trade, and any dealings with the outside world. Wow, such a generous offer. Just to be
basically, it's like the exact same shit that Israel basically also did within I was going to say not the West Bank, within the Gaza Strip after leaving the settlements from within how many years ago? Since it was around 2006, if I recall correctly, that they left.
Clear. International law deems transferring your civilian population into an occupied territory to be a breach of Article 49 of the Fourth Geneva Convention and a war crime. Ehud Barak's refusal to fully dismantle those settlements is in no way the fault of the Palestinians. His generous offer didn't even meet the very low bar of not doing war crimes. After the Camp David summit of 2000 ended in failure, Bill Clinton tried to salvage the peace attempts with his Clinton parameters. Now, to be clear, Billy was in no way interested in genuine peace or a fair settlement for the Palestinians.
Nope.
Even Aaron David Miller, a U.S. negotiator during Camp David, admitted that America, for far too long, has been biased and acted as Israel's lawyer. Clinton was more so concerned with trying to cement a legacy for himself before the end of his presidential term, not with bringing justice to the Palestinians. The Clinton parameters...
Yeah, I don't think Bill Clinton wanted to be remembered for the fact that Monica Lewinsky probably has fucking sucked him off in the Oval Office. Haha!
were verbally presented in December of 2000 in the wake of the Second Intifada and just prior to the end of Clinton's presidency. These were U.S.-conceived bridging proposals meant to save the Camp David summit and lay the groundwork for a final deal. They weren't the result of joint negotiations, just America's idea of what a compromise might look like. However, they unfortunately failed to remedy the fundamental flaws that led to the failure of Camp David just months prior. Although the Clinton parameters were a bit more generous in regards to how much of their own land Palestinians were allotted in comparison to Camp David, and territorial continuity was given some lip service, Israel was still allowed to annex territory in which they had massive, illegal Israeli settlements. This would serve to legitimize those illegal settlements instead of abiding by international law and dismantling them. The parameters made it clear that Palestinians would have to give up their right of return to the homes and land they lost in 1948. In return, Israel would only acknowledge the moral and material suffering of the refugees, nothing more. The plan focused on resettling refugees in the new Palestinian state, keeping them in host countries like Lebanon or Syria, or sending them to other countries.
Oh, so basically like the exact same thing that Israel is trying to pull right now with their whole sort of like shtick in Gaza and the fucking West Bank, where they basically want to kick out all the fucking Palestinians into a bunch of other countries. Like, unironic, just ethnic fucking cleansing. Very, very cool. Yeah, and by the way, like, what? Besides the fact that Al-Sisi said himself that he doesn't want Palestinians to stay within Egypt, or the King of Jordan also said he doesn't want Palestinians to stay within Al-Sisi is in Egypt and within Jordan. Okay, why the fuck did I say Jordan to begin with? Makes my brain up there a little bit. But yeah, the Jordanians also don't want like millions of fucking refugees to just flood into their country, because no country wants like a sudden influx of like millions upon millions of fucking refugees to have to flood in. It's a whole like bureaucratic mess. There's a lot of paperwork that's involved. You have to find where to fucking put all of them as well. And it's just like, okay, like, thank you for dumping this like large population here onto us for like no reason, just because of the fact that you have your own sort of like ridiculous like colonial ambitions, Israel. Very, very cool.
Small number would be allowed to return to Israel itself, and even that would be entirely up to Israel. In effect, the Clinton parameters aimed to erase a right recognized in international law, specifically UN General Assembly Resolution 194, which states that the Palestinians who were ethnically cleansed in 1948 have a right to return to their homes and property, or, if they choose, be compensated for what they lost. Clinton wanted the Palestinians to forget about that in exchange for what, a token gesture of sympathy? The Palestinian state
Yeah,
outlined
King
the parameters
Abdul,
was meant to
thank
be
you, boys,
non-militarized, yet Israel would have the right to deploy its forces into designated areas of Palestinian territory during a vaguely defined national security emergency, as well as maintain 3 military intelligence gathering facilities in the West Bank, a clause that seriously undermined Palestinian sovereignty. Nonetheless, instead of outright rejection, Yasser Arafat, acting on behalf of the Palestinian side, agreed to consider these parameters with reservations. So when Hillary Clinton goes on Morning Joe and says that Arafat outright rejected this offer,
This offer was made, and if Yasser Arafat had accepted it, there would have been a Palestinian state.
Whoa, fucking Hill Dog fucking lied this whole Okay, dude.
Now for about 24 years. It's one of the great tragedies of history that he was unable to say yes.
Shut your fucking goofy ass up. Shouldn't your dumb ass be in jail or something? Like, I fucking hate this motherfucking bitch. God, I fucking hate Hillary Clinton so much. Just like, actually, the Palestinians definitely rejected this proposal that was very, very fair, what we were giving them. It's like, yeah, bro, totally. And my fucking left nutsack has, been treated with more fairness throughout my fucking life, rather than your goofy, dopey-looking head-ass husband who got a fucking blowy in the Oval Office from Monica fucking Lewinsky, got way better fucking treatment, okay, throughout its fucking life, like, in comparison to that of which, what the fucking Palestinians got. Yeah, you know what? I gave, listen, Hillary, I gave, Bill such great treatment, folks. Bubba. I love Bubba. I love Bubba. He's one of my favorite guys. I'm a big fan of Bubba, let me tell you.
she's doing what she does best. Bullshitting. Arafat agreed to accept these parameters as a basis for further discussion, but he refused to waive the Palestinian right of return, among other things. The Israeli side also agreed to proceed with reservations of their own. Discussions surrounding the Clinton parameters...
Whoa, so it's like this... For example, it's like this thing that's happening in Iran right now, where basically they're saying, like, okay, well, same thing with Trump. They're just like, okay, I mean, we can proceed with this as, like, a basis for further negotiations, but this is a start. It's something. Shocker.
Took place in Taba, Egypt, between Israeli and Palestinian negotiation teams. However, due mostly to both the end of Clinton's presidency and Ehud Barak's prime ministership, the talks ended without an agreement. The narrative that emerged from this was largely the same familiar finger-pointing...
And by the way, guess who won the prime ministership after Ehud Barak? You can remind me if I'm correct, Boy Meets Mini. Oh, it was Benjamin Netanyahu. And he was never fucking interested in Palestinian statehood. Obviously, he was never interested. I think there's like interviews of him unironically saying that he said that Camp David and Oslo were a fucking mistake. So, like, we're gonna trust that fucking jabroni to be able to provide like honest or fair negotiations or follow-up negotiations whatsoever? Fucking course not. Hell no.
Toward the Palestinians.
Arafat was the leader of the PLO and basically abandoned all the negotiations that made those things possible.
As if it were their fault for Taba.
Oh, whoa. Destiny lie. Destiny's lying, guys? No, I'm shocked.
The Clinton parameters failure. The common Zionist phrase, "there is no one to talk to about peace on the Palestinian side," began to make the rounds during this period in an attempt to place the blame solely on Arafat and the Palestinians. However, dishonesty of this statement aside, it leaves out all the times when Israel assassinated perfectly viable Palestinian candidates for peace, such as the secular leftist poet Ghassan Kanafani, who was believed by many to have been able to lead the Palestinians to justice. Maybe the reason Zionists feel as though there isn't anyone to talk to on the Palestinian side is because they...
I mean, like, literally, the fucking people even assassinated Ehud Barak, and he was also, like, not Ehud Barak, Yitzhak Rabin, who fucking helped negotiate the first fucking Oslo Accords, because these fucking like freaks, these psychopaths, unironically were just like, actually this is still not fair. Unless we are able to perma-rape the Palestinians, nothing's going to be good enough for us. It's like the dog. Like, at some point in time, you can't fucking negotiate with people like that. You just can't.
They keep murdering them. Killing those sympathetic to the Palestinian cause is nothing new for Zionists. This is a practice that can be seen all the way back in 1948, when a member of the Zionist terror organization, the Stern Gang, assassinated UN-appointed mediator Count Folke Bernadotte for the crime of merely suggesting that the partition...
Oh, this happened also throughout history, where the Zionists will just literally murder people if they don't get what they want. Because I do say this, like, unironically, like, at some point in time, you just have to, like, think to yourself, like, there is no point in negotiating with people who are just wholeheartedly, like, completely and utterly uninterested in fucking peace. Like, you can't negotiate with fucking Zionists, man. You can't do it. Like, they are just not interested in an effective fucking peace process, right? Whereas with Palestinians, at the very least, they fucking tried, man. And then they still got fucked over by all the, like, freakazoid fucking Zionists that were put in fucking positions of power. It's just like, okay, dog, like what exactly are they supposed to work with here? It's stupid.
Should allot more land to the Palestinians since they made up the vast majority of the population. In direct contrast to the Zionist narrative of barbarous, intransigent Arabs, historian Avi Shlaim, in his book The Iron Wall, actually makes the case for the opposite. He argues that it was Israel that was uninterested in peace, while Arab leaders were. The files of the Israeli Foreign Ministry burst at the seams with evidence of Arab peace feelers and Arab readiness to negotiate with Israel from September 1948 on. It's worth mentioning that just because we emphasize the need for peace, that doesn't mean we should forget about the pursuit of justice. Palestinians have been horribly wronged and deserve to be met with a just peace. Funnily enough, disgraced Zionist streamer Destiny has shown in the past that he understands peace without justice shouldn't be the end goal. When the topic switches from Palestine to Ukraine, then he's able to grasp that justice is what should be strived for, not peace on its own.
Peace is not really what anybody's looking for, and peace is a very naive thing. Like, there was peace in America when we, had slavery.
So first time I ever was actually listened to Destiny, and he said that people don't really want peace, they want justice. I nearly the single stoic Slavic tear fell from my eyes.
Ukraine should be supported for as long as they want to fight. Fuck Russia. You can't just invade other countries.
But when we switch the topic back to
very interesting that Destiny could have fucking principle and be correct on this particular stance, but all of a sudden, if it's a opportunity to be spiteful against fucking lefties, whatever. Because that's the only I'm going to reiterate this point constantly over and over and over again. The only reason why Destiny holds this position is it doesn't come out of any fucking principle whatsoever. He just knows that lefties like Palestine because they just like Palestine, and he wants to be spiteful against lefties. So therefore, well, it's time to also be a fucking Zionist fucking weirdo that is spiteful against the fucking lefties. Like, that's literally it. It's just all fucking spite. Yep, there is a reason why we call him the Horseman of Spite.
Palestinian
people don't really seem interested in a peace. Seems like they're still interested in fighting.
I guess this is what happens when you don't stand for anything and just conform to whatever the political party of your choosing says at any given moment. I never hear Destiny or any other Zionist ever praise the 2002 Arab Peace Initiative, which offered Israel what it claimed to have wanted all along: peace, recognition, and healthy, normal relations with the Arab states, all in exchange for Israel.
Same thing with the fucking Abrahamic Accords, right? That's essentially the exact same fucking thing of which Israel also wants, but still, that doesn't go anywhere, right? They just don't care.
Acting in accordance with international law, meaning full withdrawal of illegally occupied territories, accepting the establishment of a Palestinian state with a capital in East Jerusalem, and respecting the Palestinians' internationally recognized right to return. Honestly, the Arab Peace Initiative reads as too much of a compromise for my liking, as it embraces a liberal Zionist stance and a two-state solution, yet Israel still outright rejected this offer. In the summer of 2020, the Abraham Accords were announced. These were a set of U.S.-mediated agreements meant to normalize some diplomatic relations in the Middle East. Dishonest actors will act as though the Abraham Accords are yet another instance of Palestinian intransigence, since Palestinians and advocates for their plight.
I swear to God, if that's like really the argument that these like fucking troglodytes are like saying, then like I'm being so serious when I say this. There's like no point in fucking negotiating or talking with these people in terms of this. It's just like. And I've talked about the Abrahamic Accords consistently before, right? Like, essentially what they want is the Arab states to try to recognize Israel, right? So what, like, Bahrain has gone along, Qatar, I think. Not Bahrain, Qatar, the UAE, and they're trying to get Saudi Arabia to also recognize Israel as well. The problem is, yes, Morocco as well. Boy Meets Minnie, thank you. They're also trying to do the exact same thing as well with the Saudis. Unfortunately, the Saudi population fucking hates Israel, so it's kind of a difficult sell for them.
Disapproved of the deal. However, the Abraham Accords had little to do with Palestinians at all, and to even refer to these accords as some sort of genuine peace attempt is a joke.
It's not that the Abraham Accords had little to do with the Palestinians, right? Unironically, the Benjamin Netanyahu outright said to Trump, do not allow the Palestinians in on the fucking negotiations. Like, unironically, he said that.
The issue with these accords is that they sidestepped the Palestinians altogether and tried to normalize Israel's relations with other Arab countries. This was effectively a middle finger to the Palestinians, as they were now watching other Arab countries who could potentially help fight for their cause, normalizing relations with their oppressors. By isolating Palestinians even further on the world stage, the Abraham Accords, according to a member of the Central Committee of Fatah, was one of the reasons for October 7th. In conclusion, I hope I've made it abundantly clear that
I've also said the exact same fucking shit. Like, because, like, think about it, right? Like, if you are causing Gaza to get only further and further isolated, if you're causing the or Hamas to get like further and further isolated, diplomatically speaking, what is the only recourse and action are they going to that they possibly have left at that point in time, right? Aggression. They're going to attack. Like, duh. Like, that's obvious, right? That's the only, like, solution that they have. Is it optimal? No, it's not fucking optimal, but that's, like, literally the only option that they have left. So, again, like, the fact that we're all, like, shocked Pikachu facing, like, how could October 7th have possibly happened? It's like, have you seen what was in the fucking Abrahamic Accords? Like, I think it's, like, really, really obvious, actually, guys.
Peace process has been nothing but a sham from the jump. The fact is, Palestinians have been colonized by genocidal fanatics and then shamed for not accepting a partition that favors their colonizers. The only thing the peace process succeeded in doing was further entrenching the occupation and slapping some international legitimacy onto it. In my next 2 videos, I will be refuting every Zionist talking point. The first one will deal with historical myths and narratives surrounding the establishment of the State of Israel, lies such as Palestine was an empty land and things of that nature. Then in the next one, I'll tackle more contemporary narratives, so keep an eye out. Appreciate you for watching. Thanks to my...
Oh, this was, okay, this was the first initial video, and then all of the debunkings of all the talking points happened. But yeah, no, this is a great fucking video here by Overzealots. Very, very good, fantastic. And, like, I do say this, like, unironically. Most of the reasons for as to why a lot of the propagandists will generally speaking be like, there is, like, basically, like, no point in engaging at all with the Palestinians because they're just not honest actors or whatever. It's like, dog, I mean, fucking Uno fucking reverse card. You guys are the ones who are, incredibly dishonest and have never been interested in fucking honest fucking engagement, right? And all of, like, the stupid propagandistic fucking mouthpieces that you have to basically try to either, A, shame people into capitulation or, basically make people... unaware of the situation that's happening, or people like just like to go along to get along through all of your fucking illegal actions, which have been constantly stipulated as being illegal under international law, is just because of the fact that, because of the genocide that fucking happened after October fucking 7th, right? Because of eventually the Palestinians just being like, bro, like, we've had enough. The only way forward is with violent resistance. That's the only recourse of action that we have, whether we all fucking like it or not, right? Because, again, the Israelis have just not given them any other fucking options. Should we, like, all be really surprised that this is the inevitable fucking action that was always going to happen? Like, no. Like, they got fucked over, and they're trying to violently resist so they don't get fucking wiped out. It is what it fucking is, and it makes sense. This has always happened, historically speaking. But whatever, all these, like, dumbasses are just like, no, actually, we are totally happy and okay with what is happening within Gaza and the West Bank. And it's always those filthy, filthy fucking Palestinians who just don't want to accept any fucking negotiated settlement. How dare they? And it's just like, okay, man, totally, bro. Everything is always the fault of the indigenous fucking populations who are getting their fucking territory occupied by a ethno-nationalist, illiberal fucking state. Yeah, we have, like, all these, like, liberals and fucking fascists joining together with one another in order to fucking justify this behavior. Very, very cool, very excellent, but I wouldn't really expect anything less from, like, dumbasses like Destiny and Prager Poo, who, well, are hand in hand in justifying the fucking atrocities that are happening within within fucking Palestine and fucking Israel. Like, it shouldn't really be surprising whatsoever. But yeah, good video by Overzealots. All the other videos that Overzealots has done have all also been very, very good as well. Anywho, I would highly recommend taking a look at all of them. I'll probably, like, stick them all in the description below of all of the epic debunkings of all the Zionist fucking talking points, of which I have also done my own, shall I say, epic debunking of throughout, I guess, my proverbial sort of career or whatever. I don't really think there is much else to say besides free Palestine, fuck Israel, they suck, and fuck you, Destiny, you suck balls. Okay. We're just doing some cleanup of some of the other factories, folks. Never shall there be ever any more shitty robots that are having 6 times energy consumption. If they don't have any energy consumption, folks, think about it. I'm a genius, I know. Okay, how the fuck are we doing in terms of you? How many fucking bottles of science do we have? 150? Ugh, we need fucking 800 more bottles of fucking science. I'm fucking cringing, dude. Whoa, 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 not Destiny, but whoa, Boy Meets Mini. You have a kafia from a fucking terrorist? Huh? You have a terror-fia. What the fucking shitballs? What are you, a fucking terrorist, Boy Meets Mini? What are you, a terrorist? Why are you such a terrorist, Boy Meets Mini? Oh, I remember what I came here for. Yes, there's a thingy I have to do. I have to yeet some stuff into a fucking trash planet. Okay, we'll do that real quick. What fucking planet am I headed to next? I mean, we still have to fucking fix this stupid shit. Trash planet. I mean, talking about Fulgora? That's the trash planet. Come on, Boy Meets Mini, you should know this. Typical racist Boy Meets Mini, being as racist as possible. Well, insulting Willie Mac show aside. As one always should, by the way. Almost at 630 subs. Everyone should subscribe to my YouTube channel, where all I do is shit talk people. It's what I do. Not gonna lie, but Destiny should register as a foreign agent of Israel because he essentially does say the Israeli propaganda because he got paid to go to Israel with other influencers in Loner Box. And it's probably not gonna happen. And actually, technically speaking, he didn't actually do that. 5-minute video from Ben Shapiro. The real reason people aren't having babies anymore. 27K views. God damn. Wallahi, he is cooked, bro. There's a reason why I don't really look at, like, any Ben Shapiro fucking videos or clips. Because, like, who the fuck cares? Yeah, I mean, he's dead. Yeah, I mean, he's dead. You know, a metaphorical sense, proverbial sense, of course. Just completely and utterly irrelevant. Like, who the fuck cares about Ben Shapipi? Who cares about Ben Piss Your Pants? Piss your pants. You should piss your pants now. Oh, I know, like, bro, who the fuck cares about Clavicular, JD Vance, and Jake Paul? Listen, if there's, like, clips that come out of it, and they're, like, interesting, I'll see the clips eventually. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck, man. If there's, like, a clip that comes out and I think it's funny, I'll take a look at it. But otherwise, I don't give a shit, man. Who the fuck cares about that shit, bro? Like, unironically, like, that Michael Knowles argument that fucking, Clavicular was having with him talking about, like, yeah, JD Vance is like an ugly, pudgy little weirdo, and that's why he's not winning the presidency. It's like, bro, you are wallahi fucking cooked, bro. Like, I'm just, like, imagining, like, JD Vance just, like, trying to awkwardly try to talk with, like, that autist, because we're keeping it a $1.50 here. This is about as $1.50 as it gets. Clavicular is severely mentally ill. I think we can all agree on this, right? He is very autistic, right? We can agree on this, right? The dude seems to be, like, not like a genuine, like, repellent. Like, he's just very awkward in every social situation and clips that you see of him. Incredibly, incredibly awkward, right? So, you have to, like, think to yourself, like, dog, like, if you're so, like, awkward and fucking weird, and you behave in the ways that you do in, like, social situations, right, like, should we really be all, like, surprised whatsoever that you're just, I don't know, you act in the way that you act around, like, women and whatnot? It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's just weird. All these people should have gone over to Kick and Rumble, or content creators and streamers who have fallen off. I mean, unironic, well, not so much for Kick, right? If you start streaming on Rumble, you've definitely fallen off. Like, that's just a fall off of centuries, but, like, eh. Wait, JD Vance didn't even show up? Dude, he got the fucking word that he was called ugly by JD Vance, and he's not gonna get voted for by clipping. That's my headcanon. But he heard that, he's just like, I'm not very happy about this. It's like, dog, like, I mean, yeah, you're an ugly, pudgy little doughboy. And no shit, people don't want to fucking vote for you. God, that's so funny. Okay, I maintain the position it's because he was called an ugly little fucking pudgy doughboy by Clavicular. You cannot make it on YouTube or Twitch and you pretty much have fallen off. That's true. I, for one, have clearly made it, Kappa. I, for one, have clearly made it, folks. I'm the greatest streamer on the planet. Let me tell you, I'm so good at it. Glad that Destiny remained and non-banned Destiny from their platform to reinstate it. Glad YouTube has demonetized his YouTube channel. Those are good decisions. This is true. I do also think that Destiny should probably stay demonetized and banned off of Twitch. Personally, I think bullying people like Destiny and keeping them off of platforms is a good thing. Same with all of his like sycophantic fucking weirdos. Nothing of value is lost. Yes, which is why he got I think he got banned off of the platform from the beginning, right? He says it's because of the reasoning that Twitch gave was because of the fact that they were just like, oh, it's because you said some shit about trans people. It's like, that's not the reasoning why. It's because you keep leading harassment campaigns against fucking keffals. That's why. Yeah, in the end, keffals ended up being kind of a piece of shit. Sure, whatever. Doesn't change the fact that you, a partnered streamer, were also leading harassment campaigns against another partnered streamer, which is explicitly against Twitch's fuck policy. JD was not there. That's so funny. Oh, we're back here. Back at the trash planet. It's time to shoot some trash into the atmosphere. Padaho, I thought you said Fulgora was a trash planet. There can be multiple trash planets. All shall gaze upon the poo-poo rockets. Really, the only platform that Destiny's making off of now is Kick. Even that's not. I don't think he's gonna go to Rumble. I don't think so. I do not think he's gonna go to Rumble. Destiny's not that desperate. The main thing, for example, right, that's really fucking over Destiny is his fucking current lawsuit that he's having. Excuse me. Alright, my presses have now been given an additional 10% productivity. So now they're at 60% productivity. Base productivity. Yeah, they gave these things a buff. Yeah, I make way more plastic than I need to. Well, that's what we call in the business an easy clap. But hey, a free 10% productivity is a free 10% productivity. We always take that shit. I think I just got a research here where I am allowed to craft these things on differing planets. I think. There is a research somewhere where I can make bacteria somewhere. Freshness maintenance. Where is that research? Because if I can fucking cultivate bacteria on this planet instead, and I could just bring in biter eggs, that would make my life a lot easier. Destiny does not have his live stream vlog playlist on his YouTube channel anymore. He's moved his live stream archives over to Spotify. Did not know he did that. I did not know that he did that. Okay, so my plan is rather simple. To fix this problem... Okay, let me see if this... Can we cultivate bacteria on this planet? Iron bacteria can't be crafted on this surface. Bacteria too low. We can't even do the loop that we want to anyways because of reasons. Which is dumb. The fuck is the biovat? What are you? From Muria. Crafting speed of 1. That's it. It just has a crafting speed of 1. That is incredibly unimpressive. The only reason he kept his live stream VOD playlist on his YouTube channel after his streams on his YouTube channel was when he had monetization and memberships going on his channel. Well, those are gone. Wow, this building sucks balls. Jesus. Bioassembler. So this is from okay, so I watched a video about one of these planets called Tellus. And apparently its shtick is that the buildings themselves have to be fed in order to function. So basically they have to be fed with probably mycelium. But it spreads a lot of spores on the planet, and there's very aggressive wasps that if they smell the pollen, they will try to murder you. But then you just shoot them with a gun. This thing has crafting speed 2 and a base productivity of 75%. That's really high. And 4 module slots. God damn. That's really good. What do you even make besides nutrients? Make plastic? Stone? Carbolite separation. make roots. Okay. Mycelia composite. The bioengineering science pack. Well, that's one of the science packs on Tellus. Make pesticides. Trying to sue iDubbbz for something Destiny said that's really stupid and really messed up. Yes, I was thinking about on if I wanted to talk about that shit or not, but a part of me just could honestly fucking care less, to be honest. Because it's just like, dog, like... I don't know, man. It's just goofy. And it's just like, what are you supposed to do about a man who just wants to self-conflagrate in the way that he does? It's one of those situations just like, okay, man, sure, dude. You have fun with that, bro. Biosynthesizer. 50 base productivity? What the cock and balls? And crafting speed of 3. That's really good, actually. Internet Versus released a video about talking about the whole situation with Ethan Klein and iDubbbz's potential lawsuit. Like, honestly, it's just... Okay, to, like, try to summarize that, I guess. So, Destiny said that Ethan Klein is probably a child rapist or some shit, right? That's what Destiny said. And Ethan is trying to say it was iDubbbz who said that for some reason. It's just like, okay, man. Even though it's like Destiny saying that in fucking DGG, and he's trying to blame fucking iDubbbz. You got piece of chat. Why would you say that about Ethan Klein? It's just like, okay, bro. Like, sure, bro. Honestly, I could give less of a flying fuck about the quarter pounder. Yeah, the fact that he's trying to flag YouTube channels who talk shit on him for being a weirdo lolcow is about what I expected. It's like, Jeremy, you are certainly not helping your case there, bud. You are doing everything possible to make your situation way worse, bro. Do I not... Is there a problem here? The heck? We don't have any nutrients. Why do I not have any nutrients? Because I don't have any bioflux. Why do I not have any bioflux? Because the shit's clogged with a bunch of bullshit. Alright, let's fucking remedy that shit. How can I produce these dumbass biofusion science packs? Oh, I mean, listen, fucking the quarter pounder is very, very sensitive whenever you talk about him. He is just a fucking loser. He's a cuck. Like, fuck Jeremy Hampley, that fucking sniveling dipshit and loser. You should always just make fun of the quarter pounder at all points in time because he is just a genuinely ostensible human being. Alright, we're leaving this planet again. I'm not really sure what the optimal solution to make the biofusion science packs are, because unfortunately that stuff has some good infinite researches that I want to make use of, but I can't. Very, very strange, peculiar. Where's Aquilo? Hmm. $166 science packs. That is extremely fucking putis. That is very, very fucking putis.
Putis, putis!
I love that sound. It's the greatest sound ever created. This is so fucking cringe. Do you know there's one thing I wish I should have done in the first place? Buy the Star Trek movie 10. Stargate Blu-ray 10 disc collection instead of buying them individually. Well, that would have been a smart thing to do. When in doubt, get collections. You know, the funny thing about, like, Stargate and shit like that is, my dad constantly talks about how much he likes, like, stuff like Stargate and Star Trek and wishes that society was like Star Trek. Yet he's, like, one of the most, like, strange, like, individualistic people on the fucking planet. It's like, I'm like, Dad, you are aware that the system that Star Trek basically talks about is like communism, and then it just like goes over his head, and I'm just like, I mean, it is. I mean, it just is, man. I find it very funny. It greatly entertains me. Looks at the train. train. Just look at it. Wow, train. If I do another Factorio run, I'm going to make it a railroad, or a rail world, rather. This is what I'm going to do. And it's going to be, it's basically like massive. I mean, the Factorio is already fucking massive in itself. Like, yeah, this place is pretty big. Look at this undisturbed life that begs to be destroyed. But yeah, basically it makes patches of like ores about as spread apart as possible. Making it such that you are incentivized to have to use trains to build materials and whatnot, or to incentivize like the moving of materials and whatnot. What is this? Boy Meets Minnie, are you sensing what I'm sensing? When you look at this recipe? No, it's not Gabe N. The fuck? No, you fool. It's, it's 500 degrees steam. It's like acid neutralization, but on the acid planet. Huh. Interesting. Oh, also, for whatever reason, you make, like, fucking heavy shotgun shells and lead on this planet. I have no idea what it is with this planet. This planet's weird. Are there enemies on this planet? Distant planets with a strong greenhouse effect. Shallow lakes of highly corrosive, I assume acid. Muriatic solution. Sure, man. Emanate gases that keep the planet warm. The fluid in the lakes can be extracted with an offshore pump. There seems to be life on the surface, which means we need guns to shoot at them with. That's what that means. But yeah, we're making lead. Now, Boy Meets Minnie, I know how much you love lead, right? You like lead, I like lead, we all like lead. This lets us make crude oil, okay. Muriatic solution, aka swimming pool cleaner. That's funny. I mean, it is, the planet's name is called Muria. The building you get from this planet is actually pretty good. The smelting plant has a base productivity of 50%, 2 module slots, a base crafting speed of 3.2, which is pretty solid. As well as the acid working plant. Crafting speed of 2, base productivity of 50, and 4 module slots. Which is also pretty respectable. That's also good as well. Handles a lot of fucking chemical processes. This planet does have some good stuff here. It does have some good stuff. Some stuff that you look at and you're just like, hey, that's pretty good. Advanced paste applications. Right, that's a good question. How the fuck do we make rockets on this planet? Shotgun turrets. And shotgun turret damage. Hey, yo. Yes, this lets me get more weapon shooting speed as well, which is not terrible, actually. 2 extra levels of weapon shooting speed. Which is pretty good, actually. Actually, that's pretty good. So what the fuck else do we get from here? Off-world chlorine production. Processes the obtain process chlorine. Leaded fuel. There you go. There's not a lot of crazy stuff that we get from this planet, to be honest. I mean, it's just shooting speed, the shotgun turret, and... Well, there's the 2 unique buildings. The 2 unique buildings are pretty good, though, so... It's worth it in and of itself. Married with Children to complete the DVD set. Even have the Jetsons complete set DVD box. You seem to be a very big fan of sci-fi stuff. Oh, I have the Command & Conquer, I think it was like the 10-year celebration thing on CD. For some reason, I have 2 of them. I think one was my dad's copy. I think. I'm going to stop this for now. We have more stuff we have to talk about. A lot of stuff to talk about. It's too bad that Command & Conquer Generals 2 basically got canceled by EA because they hate you. And because of Command & Conquer 4 being such a fucking failure. Mostly because of EA themselves. Bastards. Oh, I was also thinking about on if I wanted to go over the Shoe on Head video that she recently put out with Smug Alana. Just basically complaining about Hassan, but I've seen a couple of clips about it, and it's just like, I think I'd rather put my balls into a grinder. I think I would rather do anything else besides look at that video. It looked awful. You got George Carlin's comedy specials, all on a DVD box, including with unreleased and remastered material. Nice. Listen, George Carlin's work has, it's aged well, shall we say. I often refer to a bunch of George fucking Carlin bits, for example, in political analysis. It's like, I mean, kind of applies, guys. It unfortunately applies. Okay. Where's the fucking tab I'm looking for? There it is. Alright, gamers. I will be right back. I'm gonna get some water, stretch my legs, go to the bathroom, then we have plenty of other stuff we need to talk about. I'll be right back. Boo. You got a mounting rack for your racism pedals. What the? What the? Boy Meets Mini is being racist? What the? Time to cancel Boy Meets Mini for being fucking racist. Racismo. Why am I not? That's a good point. Alright, getting attacked by Flem Nation again, as we all know. Okay, this is the other thing I wanted. Reports that are coming out of China from Trump's visit with Xi Jinping of his trip not going well. I knew that he was having a trip there. I mean, listen, like what the fuck is Trump gonna do within fucking China in terms of negotiating with China? Like, he's got nothing. Like what? It's just scratch balls and that's it. It's like, okay, bro. Yeah, this smear article by Politico claiming that fucking Abdul El-Sayed is not a physician, I think is like extremely fucking stupid. It's like, bro, he's an epidemiologist. He's finished medical school. He taught at Harvard, but he's not a physician, guys. Like, okay, bro, he didn't treat anyone, technically speaking, guys. Like, he's been an epidemiologist. He's been teaching in fucking schools and shit. If he wasn't accredited whatsoever, then it'd be a problem, but he kind of is. Oh, man, bro. But guys, he didn't treat anyone. It's like, oh. Okay, bro. I guess he can't call himself a doctor anymore because he didn't treat anyone. Because doctors only treat people for sicknesses, right? That's how that works, right? I, a genius, understand this very, very well. It's like, okay, bro. I, a genius, understand this. It's like, okay, bro. Nice meme. Alright, I think I have everything I want to talk about. C. Lovely, lovely. Senate just failed to end the war in Iran, 49-50. Who blocked it? Oh, John Fetterman. That fucking ogre. An ogre. Very cool. There's something else I was looking for. I needed the other polling. El-Sayed polling. No, I'm not finding what I'm looking for. That's fine. Don't need it. Okay. Flick over here. Click this. Don't know why I did that. Don't ask. I'll eat you. I'll fucking do it. Alright, let's get started with this. Well, we have some rather interesting polling results that are coming out here, specifically from the Michigan Senate Democratic primary. Our boy, Abdul is coming out with a, shall we say, pretty solid fucking goddamn lead, going up 11 fucking points, right? Yeah, I guess the Hassan bump is very fucking real. I think there was also one by, I think, Atlas Intel that also reported rather similar results to this as well. And the reason why it's significant from Atlas Intel is because Atlas Intel is the most accurate pollster from both 2020 and also 2024 as well. It turns out that Zio Shill dipshit Haley Stevens and Mallory McMorrow, who's about as bland and boring as it gets, are not really inspiring anyone to want to come out to the polls to want to vote for them. And more people are becoming interested in Abdul El-Sayed. Especially considering the fact that the establishment is trying to do everything possible to try to smear him. For fuck's sake, Dan Stockman wrote an article in the Free Press trying to smear Abdul El-Sayed and just made it all about fucking Hassan Piker. It's like, okay, bro. Oh, man. And it makes a lot of sense why a lot of people probably would want, like, Abdul El-Sayed to, shall we say, basically go and try to win the Senate primary within Michigan specifically. Because people want fighters, and they feel like Abdul El-Sayed is a fighter. And because of all the, like, smears that the establishment is trying to do constantly, like, he's only getting more and more in terms of prominence. And it seems that campaigning with Hassan Piker was actually a massive fucking boon. And just to like go into even more polling, but this is with Senate primaries voters between the ages of 18 to 44, and god damn, 80% dude, and the one who you think should be in fucking second, who should be Mallory McMorrow, is in fucking third place. God damn, dude. Now, if only these people would go out and vote within the primary, that'd be really, really great. And then Abdul El-Sayed would probably be basically a shoo-in. But in a general election, these are some really good fucking numbers. Obviously, it's a great fucking number. And I'm curious. Okay, we do have a little bit of a breakdown here by the age, right? Like, can't really fucking see it. Why is this cut? Okay, who fucking took this screenshot? This is dog shit. Like, what the fuck is this, bro? Like, what's the next age demographic after this? So, like Gen Xers or something? Even Abdul El-Sayed's not doing that bad with, like, older demographics. Like, what, 23%? Even El-Sayed is also doing well in second place with older demographics as well. It's, dude, that's a really, really good thing, man. Like, this is a disaster, I think, honestly, for the establishment fucking Democratic candidates. Like, let's be honest here. And all of those attempts to try to do, like, the smears of Hassan, of Abdul trying to campaign with Hassan and stuff, have clearly and obviously backfired. Because if I were to take a bet, okay, making a bet here, what did that inevitably end up doing? Streisand effect stuff, right? People got more interested in Abdul El-Sayed because they see all these, like, dumbasses, especially, like, makes sense for young people why they probably more so started liking Abdul El-Sayed because it's going to be younger people who like watching streams and probably like Hassan, especially if they're politically active. So it makes sense that if they hear that Hassan, their favorite streamer man, or whatever the fuck, left-leaning content creator, hear that Hassan decided it was a campaign with Abdul El-Sayed, it makes sense why they're probably, that demographic of 18 to 44 is going to be more likely to also be a fan of Abdul El-Sayed. And let's be honest here, the one event where Hassan fucking showed up, right? I think it was on University of Michigan's campus, right? You correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the chat. Basically, it was it was a packed event, and there was like camera shots of the line just going all the way outside, way into the fucking back, dude. And it's just like, there are a lot of people there who specifically wanted to see, well, not only Hassan, but also Abdul. And Abdul is a really good candidate. He's a great candidate. He's a physician, I think epidemiologist. He wrote the book on Medicare for All, I think with a forward there by Pramila Jayapal, and also Big Burn Dog, Bernard Sanders himself. He's a fantastic candidate, 10 out of 10, full endorsement, blah, 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 blah. He's really, really good, and he's looking like he's in a really, really good spot to win. Now, all that needs to happen is for this 80% to come out and vote in the primary, and then it's done. It's a wrap. I don't even know if like AIPAC can try to pull some stupid fuck shit or to fuck with this race with numbers like this. But hey, I mean, you know, they'll still try something. It's still like, I think about 2 months until the primary for that comes through, so we'll see exactly what fucking happens. But here, this is a stream that I have been seeing make the fucking rounds here by Politico, and of course, Mallory McMorrow, of course, taking the opportunity to jump on this dogshit fucking smear here by Politico. But Michigan Senate hopeful El-Sayed calls himself a physician, but has little history treating patients. Question. Does Politico not understand that there are many different kinds of physicians and doctors? Like we stipulated before, but we know that Abdul El-Sayed graduated, I think, in University of Michigan and Columbia Medical School with his fucking doctorate, right? He has a PhD. He did teaching within Harvard, right? I think he was a Harvard staff member for a couple years as well. And he's an epidemiologist who devoted himself to public service. So is essentially what Politico's saying is that those guys shouldn't be counted as physicians and doctors as a byproduct of that or something? I'm a little curious here. Are we just doing some, like, Destiny tier fucking debate pervertry, like, pedantic stuff here? Because that's what I'm basically smelling here, is Destiny sort of, like, debate pervert, a pedantry here, specifically. But from our boy Steamboat here, our boy, shout out to fucking Steamboat. There is no doubt that El-Sayed has top-notch medical credentials. He attended the University of Michigan Medical School and ended up receiving his medical degree from Columbia University, College of Physicians and Surgeons. Politico, you have some explaining to do. What happened? So it's not correct for him to call himself a physician, Al? Even though he went to Columbia University College of Physicians and Surgeons. Okay, bro. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like, bro, if you're having to fucking come up with such, like, ridiculously lazy fucking smears like this, you know you're fucking wallahi cooked, bros. So fucking cooked. He has a doctorate in public health from Oxford University and worked as an assistant professor of epidemiology at Columbia for a year before moving to Detroit to be the executive director and health officer of the Detroit Health Department. So basically, he just devoted himself to public life after being a professor for about a year. Guys, it turns out there are... Alright, listen, everyone, okay? We're going to stop. We're going to think for 3 seconds. There are multiple kinds of doctors on the planet. Shocker, I know. Like, I mean, dude, nice try to fucking smear Politico. Like, and nice try trying to fucking pick up on this Mallory McMorrow. What, did you dumbass pay Politico for this dog shit fucking smear? Like, good job. It backfired immediately on your fucking faces, bro. Oh, man. Man, those, that 3% amongst young voters probably just went down to 2% instantaneously because, goddamn, this is fucking pathetic, bro. But here, some additional fucking polling that I thought was interesting to go over. So, Atlas Intel poll, right, is a poll aggregator, a pollster that does mostly like examinations of the presidential elections and has been regarded as the most accurate fucking pollster in both 2020 and 2024. And look who's on top of the presidential nominee for the Democrats. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, at the big 26% over Pete Bootysucker, and of course, the fucking chameleon himself. Ooh, even the fucking K-hivers. Ooh, it's over for you K-hivers. But then again, Kamala Harris is probably always gonna have like some percentage amount because K-hive is like a fucking cult. But oof! Hey, fucking blue MAGA dipshits and losers. What happened to swearing fealty to Gavin Newsom? I guess the fucking voters are starting to see more and more how much of a fucking ineffective loser Gavin Newsom is. And he's not been in the fucking news cycle for a while, whereas with AOC, she's constantly in the fucking news cycle in comparison to Gavin Newsom's stupid-looking head ass. Like, and she's been signaling. She's been sending out some fucking signals saying that she may potentially start running for president. But, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what exactly happens. But what I'm more interested in looking at is the Republican results. Dude. Yo. Marco Rubio at 45%? Bro. Dude, that's fucking hilarious, man. Little Marco might potentially try to go for president. What a fucking complete crash and burn from our little pudgy doughboy here. I find that to be fucking hilarious, honestly. That pudgy doughboy over here is like completely crashing and burning. I guess like tying yourself so much to the Trump ship is just you're fucking cooked right now. I mean, there's just too many instances of like JD Vance inherently just like discrediting himself, like, to be quite honest, in so many fucking cases. But what's more interesting is, damn, 10.3% are none of the above as well, which is fucking crazy. And I guess like Marco Rubio has been presenting himself as quote unquote the most competent out of the whole MAGA Trump sort of train is fucking crazy. Yeah, Donald Trump Jr. 0.4%, which I also find to be funny. So much for all those like Trump dynasty memes, Clay, right? Like his dumbass would lose immediately, which I find really, really funny. But Marco Rubio being at 45.4%, I find to be so interesting. Like, I think people just want, maybe in the Republican constituency, some form of like competency, I guess, or something. Because Marco, like, he has like 4 different jobs amongst the, besides being Secretary of State, he has like 4 different jobs in the administration. He's a busy little bee, shall we say, for lack of a better term. And I guess like this could be a quote-unquote the Republican Party wanting to return to some form of normalcy, maybe. But honestly, like, maybe that's the case, maybe that's not the case. I mean, like, Marco Rubio is still fucking insane. There isn't any war that he would like. He would continue the same neocon fucking bullshit that Donald Trump basically does right now, but maybe he, like, not be as incompetent about it is in comparison to Donald Trump or something, but like Marco Rubio is not really any different from the status quo that's currently under Donald Trump. Like, I guess he'd be less incompetent in comparison. But this is some very interesting fucking polling results that we're seeing right here. But like, hey, guess what? Hey, Democrats, hey, Chuck Schumer, the Baileys are telling me that they want Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in order to win the Democratic primary. Ah, shucks. Honestly, just the fact that the Democratic voters as a collective are just like wholeheartedly rejecting Schumerite like neoliberal thought is so fucking great. I fucking love that dude. Like, God, you guys can like suck my entire fucking cock and balls. Go fuck yourselves, Schumer, and you fucking losers. But yeah, I mean, like, what else is there to really say? The sentiment for fucking populism is only rising, and everybody fucking hates the MAGA dipshits within the fucking Republican Party, which I find really funny. And guess what? Our boy Abdul El-Sayed, now in the lead amongst the Michigan Senate Democratic primary. I guess the Hassan bump is very, very much so real, and we're seeing these fucking dumbasses crash and burn. I do think that calls for Haley Stevens are probably going to be for her to drop out, probably going to be made more and more so, especially because it is now more or less known that she's the AIPAC candidate, and nobody fucking likes AIPAC within the Democratic constituency. It's like seen as like a poison problem word, and now all you have to do is just to keep leaking the call that Mallory McMorrow had about her wanting to court AIPAC, and her campaign will probably also be sunk. So yeah, great, fantastic, very, very cool. And all in the meanwhile, these guys are like desperately trying to throw like whatever shit at the wall that they can in order to try to smear Abdul El-Sayed. It's genuinely extremely fucking pathetic. But then again, I wouldn't expect anything less from, well, the Democratic fucking Party, that they would try to come up with like whatever fucking pathetic smear to try to stop the Abdul-mentum, dude. Abdul-mentum, bro. Like, it's great to see that all these like dipshits are, shall we say, getting put in their fucking place. Don't think there's really much else to say besides that. All right. All right, let's do this. Excuse me. Are we seeing the potential for NSPM-7 to be implemented by the Trump administration in some way with this fucking counterterrorism strategy? So, we've gone over in a probably older video at this point in time of a Ken Klippenstein article talking about the tenets of what NSPM-7 was, which was a presidential memorandum essentially outlining the the strategies that the Trump administration was looking to pull in order to try to combat terrorism within the United States of America, saying people that they like, groups that they wanted to go after, and the sort of criterion that was being outlined by the president and his team of people that they basically wanted to go after, for lack of a better term. But they want to identify and neutralize political groups that are anti-American. So it's purposely extremely vague, because if they were to be sort of, more clear about it, then they could be, find a way around it, get a loophole, blah, 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 blah. Standard of the authoritarians to just be as vague as possible with stuff like this, because it gives them essentially carte blanche to go after who they perceive to be their political opponents. Who the fuck knows what they mean by anarchists and radically pro-transgender? Ah, fuck, dude. Not the pro-transgenderism party within the United States of America. No, okay, bro. What do we have here in this content? So this is the, the counterterrorism strategy, I guess the little dossier that they put out about this. What do we have here? Good versus bad counterterrorism, the threat. I'm more curious, what's the fucking strategy mostly? I don't think I care as much about the resources. Let me guess. They're gonna go to democratic fucking cities or whatnot. Terrorists and weapons of mass destruction. What the fuck is this, bro? America first counterterrorism. Oh, we just don't like those stinky transgenders or whatever the fuck. I'm more curious about what this is. The goals, the principles, and the strategy. Wait, what's in the forward? What's this? Presidential forward. This is from the big man himself. When I returned to the White House on January 20th, 2025, 4 years of weakness, failure, surrender, and humiliation under the last administration came to an end. Today our nation is strong, our borders are secured, and the United States is respected all around the world. Okay, buddy. We are once again putting America first. As part of my commitment to defending America from all enemies, foreign and domestic, we are once again working to crush the threat of terrorism. Within 43 days, we apprehended the terrorist mastermind of the attack on Abbey Gate in Afghanistan that left 13 American service members dead. In just 1 year, we brought back 106 American hostages from captivity abroad without paying a single dollar to their captors. It's about Hamas or something? I'm not sure exactly what that means. We designated key chapters of the Muslim Brotherhood as terrorist groups. They have always been. We mobilized the Department of Homeland Security to remove illegal alien criminals and jihadist sympathizers from our country. Yeah, man, totally. ICE has been doing a great job at removing those illegal alien criminals. About, 70+% of them are not that, so whatever. Stupid. We ended the war in Gaza. Not really. Israel still bombs the Gaza Strip constantly. And the process of ensuring Gaza can no longer serve as a haven for terrorism and extremism by bringing security and prosperity to the region. Okay, bro. Operation Midnight Hammer and Epstein's Fury have dealt devastating blows to the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, the sinister regime in Iran, to ensure they can never have a nuclear weapon. Really? You sure about that? Are we really sure that this is done exactly what you think it is? I mean, literally everybody hates the fact that the Iranians are getting bombed at this point, that the global disruptions have been as pervasive as they have been. Europe is about to run out of jet fuel, for fuck's sake. Bro, this has been, the one thing that's been sinking this administration. At the same time, my administration has put an unprecedented focus on dismantling threats to the American homeland in our hemisphere, by randomly bombing boats in international waters. We are no longer permitting the cartels and gangs who have poisoned billions of Americans to freely operate in our region or smuggle their drugs, guns, or trafficked women and children into our country. Wait, what? Aren't most of the people that are getting trafficked by the cartels looking to try to seek asylum that you're not letting in specifically? I know that there's been a bunch of clandestine operations, I think, going on in Mexico with the cartel members, I believe, as well, right? There's been a bunch of fucking operations happening there with the CIA, and it's just okay, bro, sure, man. Who even knows if the fucking Mexicans asked for that whatsoever? Maybe they did. Who really knows? We will not let, where was I? Last year I rightfully designated the deadly cartels as terrorist organizations, which doesn't really make any sense because they're not a state, but whatever. Our armed forces and began using the strength and power of the U.S. military to stop and destroy their operations, which the Mexicans have told them not to do. Our armed forces also demonstrated their incredible power and skill in capturing the narco-terrorist outlaw Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, It's not how that works, but whatever. Bring him to face American justice. We will not let cartels, jihadists, or the governments who support them plot against our citizens with impunity, which is not happening. No evidence has been presented at all to that effect, but sure, whatever, man. Terrorists of any kind will not be allowed to find safe harbor here at home or attack us from abroad. Our new U.S. counterterrorism strategy is a return to common sense and peace through strength, which is, by the way, I'm going to tell you right now, not popular amongst the American fucking people. So, yeah. Is it really fucking common sense when it's not really, like, the bombings of the boats randomly in international waters has not been fucking popular whatsoever? Because that's basically the counterterrorism policy. They look at some dudes through, like, some drone and just bomb them all of a sudden. It's like, I don't think that's what anyone wants whatsoever. Or the ICE detainments of just random people. Yeah, that's also not been very popular. There's been, like, polling, I think, that's been recently done, and the Democrats have had, I think, like, advantages in, like, basically every single issue whatsoever. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think it's really working out as well as you may think it is, to be honest. As I said in our first successful counterterrorism mission, just days after I was sworn back into office, if you hurt Americans or are planning to hurt Americans, we will find you and we will kill you. Yeah, just completely disregard international law. Who knows if they're actually even trying to hurt Americans whatsoever? You have no fucking idea. Like, unironically, the first boat that was bombed in international waters was apparently a drug-running boat that was not even headed towards the United States of America. So, yeah, just a bunch of fucking charlatans and liars. Introduction good versus bad counterterrorism? Okay, bro. Like, sure, man. I just want to look at their fucking strategies and principles. What is this? What is their principles? America's new U.S. counterterrorism strategy is driven by the principle that America is our homeland. Okay? Americans should be safe to live their lives without the fear of terror attacks, the threat of jihadists, the flooding of our communities with deadly drugs at the hands of foreign narco-terrorists. Again, like, you have to ask yourself this question. Are the drug cartels intending to flood the U.S. markets with a bunch of fucking drugs? Not really. They just want to make a bunch of fucking money. Like, calling them narco-terrorists means that they're doing this for a political aim, right? Which doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, so is making money like a political goal now all of a sudden? Okay, I guess like every sort of like corporation is now like a political entity or something. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense to me, right? Like, the flagrant use of the term terrorist here is probably one of the biggest problems I'm having here. Or violent left-wing extremists who have adopted radical ideologies antithetical to the principles upon which our republic was founded. Okay, sure, man. Liberal fucking principles, enlightenment values, and these bastards just have no idea what any of that fucking means. Additionally, we will continue to ensure our CT structures are not weaponized against the American people as prior administrations allowed. AKA, we don't want to have them weaponized against people that we like, AKA all the January 6th insurrectionists that Donald Trump fucking pardoned, who all ended up going back to jail because they are rapists, extremely violent, or were just general criminals in of themselves. Getting a massive attack by Flum Nation right now. Don't like that. When it comes to state actors, our priority is to identify and fully degrade the lines of covert support provided to cartels and Islamists by our adversaries. No evidence of this, of course, whatsoever, but whatever. I mean, there's the proxy groups of Iran, but that's really about it, which is who you're bombing the literal shit out of right now and causing the global economy to collapse. This includes overt actions such as sanctions, shadow fleet oil tanker interdiction, so intercepting of random fucking boats or whatever, sure, and covert operations to make funding and state sponsorship very costly to inseminal regimes, or inimical? I don't know how to pronounce that word. Including their provision of dual-use technologies, especially drones, advanced conventional weapons, or the precursor chemicals to make deadly narcotics. These counter-terrorist operations include offensive cyber operations against those planning to kill Americans or who support those planning to do so. The priorities. Our CT strategy first prioritizes the neutralization of hemispheric terror threats by incapacitating cartel operations until these groups are incapable of bringing their drugs, their members, and their trafficked victims into the United States. Again, like, most of the people who the cartels are trafficking are like asylum seekers mostly, who are having their, well, asylum claims take like fucking forever to process because of the Republicans defunding the courts, but whatever, man, totally. At the same time, we'll continue to find and remove the cartel and gang members who were let into our country under the Biden administration while using FTO designations to strangle the commercial and logistical sinews of their organizations. Okay, bro. Jihadi terrorists have continued to plot against and kill Americans, in part because of the failed forever war policies of prior Republican administrations. Yet he's doing the exact same fucking mistakes and also, well, policies of those same prior Republican administrations with the Iran war by constantly kicking the can down the road to let someone else deal with the mess that he created. But okay, bro. Nice meme. The empowerment of terror-sponsoring regimes like Iran under Democrat administrations, because the following of a deal that they... Okay, whatever. Stupid. The empowerment of terror-sponsoring regime and past unwillingness to challenge Islamist ideologies head-on. As a result, our second priority is the targeting and destruction of the top 5 Islamist terror groups that have the intent and capabilities to execute external operations against the United States, starting with Al-Qaeda, especially its most aggressive subgroup, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, and ISIS, along with ISIS-K, FTO designation of the Muslim Brotherhood. We will continue maintaining pressure on the global jihadi movement until global MB enterprises can no longer recruit and fund terror against the United States. Like, okay, I'm a little curious. Are there, like, Muslim Brotherhood terror cells in the United States? I mean, maybe. Like, mostly what they mean, because the Muslim Brotherhood mostly operates in, oh, guess what? The Middle East, of course. What he essentially means here, if I were to take a guess, is, oh, we don't want any more attacks on our American military bases. That's what we want, folks. Our nation has not been served well by its intelligence community. It's not going any better under, like, Kash Patel and shit, which has been mired in old ways of looking at threats, or has been actively weaponized by its leadership as a political tool. Again, like, gotta have the constant victim narrative, because these motherfuckers are upset about the fact that, like, say, FISA warrants were used against the President of the United States, who did obvious fucking crimes and whatnot, but whatever, dude. Like, it's okay if we use it against our domestic fucking political opponents and outside opponents, but if it's done against us, no, we can't have that. Stupid. Well, they're plotting against conservative Catholics attending traditional mass in Virginia. Who wants to make a bet that they were not doing that? Parents standing up for their children at school board meetings. Yeah, by the way, most of those, like, school board meeting, like, mothers and shit like that were either neo-Nazis or fucking planting bombs at, like, children's hospitals at the behest of, like, fucking libs of TikTok. But okay, bro. Nice meme. Members of Congress or President Trump and his associates, this administration will continue to prohibit the IC from being used politically against innocent Americans. As real threats were ignored or underplayed, Americans have witnessed the politically motivated killings of Christians and conservatives committed by violent left-wing extremists. Oh, I'm sure. Including the assassination of Charlie Kirk by a radical who espoused extreme transgender ideologies. Dude, you guys are fucking clowns, bro. Like, yeah, man. Tyler Robinson, known transgender extremist ideology enthusiast. This is so fucking stupid. There is zero evidence to suggest that fucking Tyler Robinson, who we don't even know if that was the bank guy who even ended up doing the hit on Charlie Kirk, but whatever, man, is A fucking left-wing radical extremist. Like, Ken Klippenstein did an interview of the people that he knew on fucking Discord, and they showed in the fucking messages, the group chats they had, he mentioned Trump and Biden once each. That's literally it. Incredible, man. Fucking incredible. In addition to cartels and Islamist terror groups, our national CT activities will prioritize the rapid identification and neutralization of violent secular political groups whose ideology is anti-American, radically pro-transgender, and anarchist. Now, how are they going to exactly prove this is my fucking question. This is the exact same shit as fucking NSPM-7, right? Where they were outlining who their domestic political opponents were, the Trump administration that is, and it's obviously incredibly vague and nonsensical on fucking purpose. It's like, okay, bro, like, nice fucking meme, dude. Like what exactly were we supposed to be like discern from this? Like, what do we mean by radically pro-transgender? Saying like what? Trans rights are human rights. I guess that's a radical pro-transgender position now or something. Ah, shucks. I guess I'm a terrorist now or some shit. Yeah, like, it's stupid. It's stupid. It's purposely vague, and it's meant to be like a definition that's supposed to be like completely and utterly unwieldy on purpose, for the express purpose of what exactly? To allow the state to have broader power so they can just like go after whoever the fuck they feel like. That's the whole purpose behind all of this. We will use all the tools constitutionally available and available to us to map them at home, identify their membership, map their ties to international organizations like Antifa. Yeah, dude, known international organization Antifa. They're decentralized but highly organized at the same time. Like, it doesn't make any sense. How do we take care of them? By the way, I thought JD Vance was supposed to be the guy who was supposed to look into the funding mechanisms of Antifa or something, and still has not come up with like anything. I wonder whatever happened to that, guys. I wonder. And use law enforcement tools to cripple them operationally before they can maim or kill the innocent. Yeah, dude, Antifa, very, very well known for going around and just killing and maiming people. Okay, bro. In comparison to, like, the Charlottesville protesters who have run over people, or, like, all the people that the right-wing extremists have killed and fucking maimed for their, like, schizophrenic ideology. But, okay, man, totally. We will do the same with the state sponsors of such groups and those governments undertaking lethal plots on U.S. soil or against Americans anywhere. Sure, man. Totally. The known state sponsors of the fucking Antifa. Oh, man. Not Antifa, guys. Not Antifa. Finally, and in a special strategic category, we'll maintain and increase our national assets to combat and render safe the most dangerous terrorist threat to America: non-state acquisition and the use of weapons of mass destruction. Wait, like, who the fuck is trying to get a nuclear weapon right now? That'd be some crazy fucking big news if there was some, like, non-state actor that had a nuclear fucking weapon. Whoa, that's crazy, bro. Okay, bro. Sure, totally. Especially the terrorist use of nuclear and radiological devices. This mission and the attribution of nuclear threats remain presidential priorities as laid out during the first Trump administration in NSPM 35 and 36. Technological advances since then necessitate a re-examination of the threat and an update to our CT policies. The goals of the strategy. The mission of counterterrorism structures of the United States is to identify those groups that have the intent or incapability to plot terror attacks or to plot attacks against Americans and then neutralize them. The mission can be broken down into 3 simple functions: identify actors and plots before they happen, cut off their arms, funding, and recruiting streams, ultimately destroy established terror groups. Sure, this necessitates designations of cartels and transnational gangs as FTOs or foreign terrorist organizations to make available additional intelligence authorities and deny and disrupt their financial streams and access to the United States. Very, very, I guess, great to see the United States being rather explicit that the point of the designation of foreign terrorist organizations is so that the state itself can have more broader sweeping powers to just do like what exactly? Meh, whatever they fucking feel like overseas, right? Because there's, again, for a lot of these like organizations, besides the ones that are actual terrorist organizations, do the cartels have the, for example, instant or like straight up political goal of trying to, for example, implement policies to sell as many drugs as possible to Americans with the express purpose of killing them? Not really, exactly. They're just trying to make a bunch of fucking money, and that's it. Like, that's all that they're trying to do. So to call, like, the cartel groups terrorists are not exactly... That's not exactly, like, a accurate distinction to give them, because they're not selling drugs with a political goal in mind. They're selling drugs because they want to make some fucking goddamn money. Like, okay, bro. Like, stupid. Taking necessary and specific actions in self-defense to neutralize imminent threats to the United States by bombing the shit out of boats in international waters. A series of similar high-intensity but short campaigns against the 5 jihadist groups deemed by the CIA as the most dangerous and capable of external operations targeting the American homeland and U.S. citizens. This includes Al-Qaeda and ISIS, diplomatic, financial, cyber, and covert actions to undermine or deter inimical? Sure. State actors, and from assisting foreign, from designated FTOs, whether cartels, jihadists, or violent left-wing radicals. I mean, like, again, oh, these are our enemies, we want to go after them. Look at me, jingle some keys to our fucking dipshits. Sure, man, totally. As the world's most powerful nation, our means to archive these goals are tremendous but not unlimited. We must therefore prioritize our targets and our operations against them. Sure, totally, bro. Beyond the 3 categories of terrorist threats to our homeland, our counterterrorism strategy addresses the 5 functional aspects of the current CT environment, new and evolving a collaboration between nation states and threat groups such as cartels. Okay, they made the argument that the Venezuelan state was like, operating with Cartel de la Sol or something, or like, Chanderagua, even though there's like no evidence whatsoever that, quote unquote, Nicolas Maduro was getting any fucking money from any of the cartels operating within Venezuela. There's just no evidence of it whatsoever, but they're just going to say that so they can like justify whatever the fuck action they feel like justifying. It's really, really stupid, obviously. New and deepening alliances between the far left and Islamists. The Red-Green Alliance. Yeah, dude. Known far left and Islamist alliance. Okay, bro. Sure, man. New and evolving alliances between established terrorist groups, such as the collaboration between Al-Shabaab and the Houthis, exploitation of new weapons like drones by cartels and jihadists, as well as the provision of these technologies to terrorists by state actors, namely Iran, China, and Russia. I thought Trump was real buddy-buddy with Russia. What happened? Now you're trying to say that Russia is providing weapons to fucking terrorists? That's new to me. That's interesting. Remaining threat of terrorists acquiring and using nuclear, biological, or chemical weapons. President Trump has rightly labeled the single greatest threat to this world. Dude, like, what the fuck is this, man? This is, again, it's Patriot Act 2, electric fucking boogaloo. Like, we've seen this whole fucking shtick before. Like, it's boring, it's stupid, it's the exact same fucking bullshit these motherfuckers constantly love to complain about. It's like, oh, brother, this guy stinks. Additionally, there is the special category of terror-like actions taken by state actors, including acts of sabotage and the use of proxies, assassinations, and what some of our allies have labeled hybrid attacks. We will continue to work with our CT partners to make it impossible for such state-driven terrorism to occur in our homeland. Okay, sure, man. You guys are going to be really, really successful. Oh, why am I not surprised that they were... part of their fucking resources is the bombings that they're doing against fucking random boats in international waters. Okay, man, totally. Counterterrorism by region, Middle East, Europe, Africa. Talk about ISIS, I guess. In Asia. Oh, talking about Afghanistan, okay. Like, more details or something. Terrorists and weapons of mass destruction. What is this? From the Shinriko, Shinriko? Sure. Tokyo sarin gas attack in 1995, though Al-Qaeda's nuclear ambitions prior to and after 9/11. Okay, like, where the fuck is Al-Qaeda gonna get a fucking nuclear weapon? How? Like, this is the exact same justification George Bush was trying to do to justify his fucking invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan. Like, same shit's going on here. We're gonna justify another invasion in the Middle East by claiming, oh, these terrorists now have the ability to get a nuclear weapon. It's like, how? Where are they getting a nuclear weapon from? From the Iranians or something? Like, why would if the Iranians had the capability of creating a nuke, why the fuck would they give it to Al-Qaeda or something, which isn't even a known proxy for the Iranians? Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense to me, dude. There's so many holes that you can poke into this so easily. Stupid. Terrorists have consistently sought to develop, acquire, the most destructive technologies available. To ensure any terrorists who credibly pose a threat to Americans ever actually gain the capability to conduct a WMD attack, we'll continue to work with our partners, continue to hold states that sponsor, maintain a robust counterterrorism WMD crisis response capability, enhance our capabilities to anticipate and manage the impact, sure. U.S. government will use diplomatic intelligence and military, economic, law enforcement, and scientific capabilities, including kinetic and non-kinetic actions, where appropriate to thwart this threat. Sure, man. America First Counterterrorism. For the 25th anniversary, oh yeah, it's been 25 years since that happened, huh? Of the 9/11 terror attacks, America has returned to a common sense and reality-based counterterrorism strategy by being incredibly vague and not outlining anything whatsoever. But sure, man. Trump has effected a complete revision of how we defeat threats to America, predicated on national sovereignty and civilizational confidence. Civilizational confidence, whatever the fuck that means. And the objective of destroying the groups who would kill Americans or hurt our interests as a free nation. This applies to cartels, jihadists, left-wing violent extremists, state actors, and state sponsors, or any future terror threat. Under the leadership of President Trump, our CT strategy is one of action and strength, though his CT strategy, President Trump and his administration, will always put America first, defending its people and homeland from terrorists, and always make America more safe and secure by being incredibly fucking vague by what we mean by left-wing actors and narco-terrorists on purpose. And doing literally everything possible to keep everything as vague as possible, and having like a schizo fucking rant with the president in terms of the presidential forward. But sure, man, totally. You guys are going to do a great job in terms of stopping the terrorists from getting a fucking goddamn, shall we say, nuclear weapon, and claiming that they're working with the left wing in a red-green alliance. The Christmas alliance, you could say. Very, very cool. I mean, like, what else is there to really say? Obviously, this fucking, I don't know. It's just the same shit from fucking NSPM-7. Like, that's really all there is to it. Like, it's NSPM-7. It's the same fucking dreck and nonsense coming out of the fucking mouth of the president, who barely has any idea how fucking counterterrorism strategy works. And it's just any opportunity, like you're saying, Boy Meets Minnie, to label any form of dissent as fucking terrorism. That's literally it. Constant of the fucking fascist. Constant of, like, the, shall we say, the 1984 Newspeak wannabes who want to just label anything that they don't like as fucking terrorism so then they can sick the law on them. That's, like, what it really means in reality, right? Dissent is bad. We will sick law enforcement and potentially, like, I don't know, harass and harangue you in your places of worship or whatever the fuck, because we don't know if you're going to be doing terrorist actions in here or something, or acquiring weapons in order to do terroristic actions, and going after, like, rather nebulous organizations that may or may not exist. And even though they've been claiming that there's been people going after this, like, funding sources of various terrorists or whatever the fuck in the United States already by like J.D. Vance or whatever the fuck. I don't have no idea whatever the fuck happened to that shit in particular, but whatever. Complete nonsense as always from the President of the United States being purposely fucking vague by calling any form of dissent terrorism, because it's all about the fucking fascism in the end with these people. Don't think there's really much else to say besides that. What I'm really scared of is TPUSA and other white nationalist orgs becoming more militant like the RSS. I'm going to be honest, Boy Meets Minnie, I think they're too pussy to do that. They ain't going to do shit. Yeah, they have guns, but they're never going to do anything. They, in fact, never do anything. It's true. Those guys do terror attacks all the time. I mean, they literally fucking kill the separatists here in fucking Canada. Like, they're insane. Alright. I think we'll save this for tomorrow. Because, this stuff has been making quite the buzz. Oh boy. Pornography. By the way, one thing that you will never catch me saying is prawn. Absolutely the fuck not. Actually, no, this video wasn't that long. Maybe we'll also do that as well. Alright, let's get started with our boy Prawn. Shut the fuck up. Anyway. Our big boy, Zohran Mamdani, continuing his generational run as mayor of fucking New York City. And the $12 billion budget deficit that was left to him by Eric Adams, that corrupt fucking shithead. 0. This man is about 140 days in office right now, and not only is he making the city government work way better, yep, filled up 100,000 fucking potholes, filled the budget hole, has been allocating money to help. I think this is a recent thing. I think he allocated like $250 million to help like run down apartments, to help get them fucking fixed up and everything. It's great. And by the way, that budget deficit that was left to him by Eric Adams, every public service still had funding. It's generational. Like he is the GOAT, dude. Like what else can you really say? It turns out I guess sewer socialism is actually pretty fucking effective, guys. That the whole historical precedent, I think in Milwaukee specifically, of sewer socialism is working really well. And basically what is meant by sewer socialism is, guys, what if government actually works for the people, and what if the state is actually effective in being able to, well, create good outcomes for the people within, shall we say, a city or government or what have you. Anywho, Zohran, what do you have for me, buddy?
New York, it's executive budget season, and I'm proud to announce that our city's budget is fully balanced. This budget isn't just about numbers on a page.
So keep in mind, because cities within the United States of America can't print their own currency, obviously they're not the federal government, so they have to have balanced fucking budgets, right? Which is why when all the fucking dumbasses, these conservative morons, these troglodytes, these barely brain-functioning idiots, were saying like, this is what happens when a socialist is in power and they take money away, they run out of, like, doing, like, recycling the old Thatcher quote, may she forever rot in hell, recycling Thatcher's quote saying like, well, that's the problem with socialism, you know? Because eventually you'll start running out of other people's money. And it's just like, okay, that fucking quote is really stupid, I think, for like 17 different reasons. It's like, Margaret, then what the fuck is the point of taxes? That's what taxes are, by the way. Taxes are you taking other people's money so then you can use them. Like, not even to just mention the fact that socialism, unironically, abolishes the fucking money form, but whatever. It's stupid for like 17 fucking different reasons, and people who recycle that quote are just like brain-leaking troglodytes who are incapable of basic fucking literacy. But whatever. That's a different fucking point. But cities have to have balanced budgets, and considering the fact that Eric Adams, with his cuts to social spending, public spaces, and whatnot, all for the express purpose of funneling more money to the NYPD, should really go without any surprise whatsoever that he drove a massive fucking budget deficit because of all the cuts that he was doing to funnel more money specifically to the NYPD, because he's an incredibly fucking corrupt shithead who wanted to funnel money to his buddies within the fucking department. Very, very cool. But you're never going to hear any of these like troglodytes fucking complain about that. But what you're going to hear instead is dishonest clipping of stuff that Zohran Mamdani says, saying like, well, you know, he said he was going to raise property taxes for that. And it's just like, dog, you are aware that most people in New York rent. They don't own property. They rent. Mostly the people who are going to be having to pay that are the all the like companies, all the developers who own those fucking properties. You are aware of that, right? You guys know this, right? Like, it's very, very fucking stupid. And yeah, by the way, as he said himself in that fucking press conference, that was the last resort option, because that's the only sort of like way that the city government, for example, has like control over tax policy. Like, stupid. Everything else has to go through fucking Albany, for example. So it's like, okay, bro, yeah, he doesn't have to do this anymore. But doesn't matter. Conservatives are all low IQ and they don't understand anything.
It determines if our libraries get funded, if a street is safe to cross, if snow is actually shoveled after a storm. And you deserve to know.
By the way, those guys get paid like $30 an hour now.
Exactly how we got here. We inherited a $12 billion budget deficit.
We are speaking about a fiscal crisis at the scale greater than the Great Recession.
Was the Great Recession? Great Recession. Many said the only way out of this was slashing services and passing an austerity budget. We rejected that. After months of painstaking work, that deficit is now zero. Our city is now on firm financial ground. We achieved this in two major ways: increasing revenue and support from Albany, and cutting waste.
I believe the way they did that was they got like $4 billion, I think, from Albany to essentially try to address that fucking deficit. A lot of conservatives are sort of bringing that up fucking dishonestly, but like that's because there was like tax hikes, for example, on the richest fucking New Yorkers specifically, and a lot of the ways that Zohran Mamdani did to try to close that fucking budget deficit was by cutting a lot of, for example, $8 billion was from cutting waste. And there are various videos of Zohran Mamdani talking about like how all these different consultancy firms, because guess what? All the stuff that Eric Adams was doing was through fucking public-private partnerships, was talking about like, here are all these differing public-private partnerships and all these fucking consultants who were getting all this money from the New York City budget. Yeah, that's where they got a lot of the fucking money in terms of the, for example, the whole all those like differing firms that Eric Adams was like funneling a bunch of money to specifically. It's just like, okay, bro, like, nice meme, bro.
Finding savings here in New York City. Thanks to Governor Hochul, State Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie, and months of organizing from New Yorkers, we tax the rich. That tax alone will...
I remember there was like a segment of Ken Griffin saying like he was complaining about getting fucking doxxed and shit because of that. It's like, shut the fuck up, you stupid little bitch. That's a second home your goofy looking head ass doesn't even fucking live in. Go fuck yourself, you little bitch. Suck my fucking cock. Like, unironically. Like, all these, like, billionaire fucking dipshits who want to try to, like, worm their ways into your lives to seem fucking likable. Meanwhile, they continue to rape the fucking cities and countries they constantly decide to lay their fucking grubby little paws on, doing everything possible to make the general sort of like local culture and area that you fucking live in way, way worse with their pedophilic, avaricious fucking desires. Fuck these people. You should hate billionaires. You should have nothing besides contempt and vitriol to the fucking rich.
Raise $500 million per year. And that's not all. Thanks to Governor Hochul and our partners in Albany, we finally got a better deal for New York City. We're getting billions more from the state to help tackle the gap. At the same time, we've been poring over the city budget to identify savings. We reduced unnecessary overtime and found smarter ways for government to deliver services. This all added up to $1.77 billion in...
Yeah, that's the video I was talking about. Fucking... Eric Adams wasted like $2 billion... almost $2 billion with like a bunch of fucking like consultancy shit and whatnot, and just, oh man, and just like not streamlining anything with the fucking government. And by the way, this is like a lot of the talking points for as to why Democrat run cities are run like shit, generally speaking, is allowed to persist. Because of the fact that a lot of the Democratic mayors that exist in these cities, not to get into the fucking Republican-run cities, but that's a completely different story that none of those dipshits are ever going to address because it's brought up mostly dishonestly. There are a lot of inefficiencies within those fucking governments. But there's a reason why. Because they're wholeheartedly captured by, like, a lot of differing interests. Mostly, like, utilities, like private utility companies. A bunch of real estate fucking interests. Lots of real estate interests very often capture a lot, and I mean a lot of those fucking local governments, municipal fucking governments. Looking at you fucking Abunda losers, you fucking Ezra Klein and Derek Thompsons of the world. Guys... actually, the biggest problem with local and federal governments are all of the activist groups. It's like, yeah, man, totally. And not like, say, housing development companies. But okay, bro, like, nice fucking goddamn meme. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And all the fucking dumbass bloat that constantly happens in, a bunch of like these consultancy firms that get funneled a bunch of money for literally no reason. It's fucking stupid. It's annoying. And guess what? You should fucking hate them, right? That's the biggest fucking problem. But none of these people are ever honest in any of that because they're just okay with it. Whatever. Also, what's up, Maya? How's it going, gamer?
Total savings. Our budget isn't just about closing deficits. It's about building a city New Yorkers can actually afford. On day 8 of our administration, we announced a historic partnership with Governor Hochul to finally deliver universal childcare. That's $1.2 billion in new funding from Albany. And this was just the beginning. Investments in citywide trash containerization, cheaper groceries, safer streets, relief for taxi drivers are all on the way. And we're increasing funding for libraries, arts, and cultural institutions. I promise to make sure you were part of this budget process every step of the way. This is your city.
And by the way, this is unironically how you can revive your fucking goddamn cities by, again, parks, libraries, improving transportation, just making, like, life within the city just generally better and more interesting, rather in comparison to how most neoliberals and conservatives like to think, or honestly, conservatives generally speaking like to think, in allowing all the cities to be essentially rape playgrounds for the rich to play in.
These are your tax dollars, and this budget should reflect your priorities. We're proud to put forward a budget for the working people of this city, and we're going to do it again next year, and next year, and next year, and next year.
Yeah, like, listen, eternal Zohran Mamdani stan reign. It's Jover for all of the dumbass fucking billionaires who keep saying they want to leave New York constantly over and over again. And it's just like, okay, then fucking leave. Bye. Fucking, I don't know, have your financialization business in fucking Miami where there is no talent and all of the talent is in New York specifically. Like, fucking Cope and C, the fucking losers. And also, by the way, all that talent is constantly leaving Florida because of how much of a fucking third world shithole that fucking place is. So, I mean, if you guys want to go to Florida and fuck over your business, go right ahead. Have fun. Bye-bye. Nobody fucking likes you. But as expected from our boy Zohran Mamdani, he is balancing the budget and is showing this is what happens when you actually have competent governance and someone who is actually interested in wanting to actually provide a good outcome for the people. And this is what billionaires and most politicians are the most fucking afraid of. If there is an instance of somebody who is actually shows what the state, if it is run competently, is capable of fucking producing. That is what these people are the most fucking afraid of, right? Actual, competent fucking governance. And Zohran Mamdani is putting on, shall we say, a proverbial fucking clinic in terms of what actual good governance looks like and the outcomes that it can produce for the people of the fucking city of New York, right? Where everything is seemingly just looking up and up and up for the people of New York, whereas all the like dumbass, pedophilic, avaricious dipshits are like flailing about in fucking Iran, trying to continue with the plan of eternal rape of the fucking country for what exactly? Meh, just to make a bunch of money for themselves for their stupid fucking bunkers in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, when eventually the world ends up eating itself because of the instability that these pedophilic, avaricious dipshits have created for everyone. So, honestly, as expected, Zohran Mamdani is based, and all the billionaires and politicians and people within power are cringe because they are just okay with the eternal suffering of the people, whereas with someone like Zohran Mamdani, he's actually interested in bringing results for the people. Don't think there's really much else to say besides that. Okay, we're gonna save the porn clip for tomorrow. Yeah, you heard me. Fuck you. The porn clip. I'll say it again. The porn clip. 'Cause I'm a little sleepy. I'm a little sleepy. It's basically a bunch of people being anti-sex work or whatever the fuck. Blah, 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 blah. Shit like that. Who am I rating out to today? Who the fuck am I rating out to today? There's not a lot of people on, folks. That's okay. let's raid out to Epic Prawn. That's who we're raiding out to today. Alright, dorks, raid messages. You know what to do, you know what to say. If you're a sub, you say you've been blessed by the Romanian Jesus with the transfer out of the Daho raid buff. If you're a non-sub, you do the WoW with the Daho raid buff. That's how you show appreciation. Those ready to in case gamers. I will be back tomorrow and we'll be doing more of the same. Yapping about shit. Factoring our Oreos. Mayhaps, perhaps. Maybe we'll get lucky, folks. And, continuing. Yeah, after about a bunch of bullshit, I have to figure out what planet I'm gonna go to next. Fuck. What planet do I want to go to next? Fuck. I'll figure that out. Anyway, gamers, I will be back tomorrow. Same time, same place, same face. Peace out, gamers.